Welcome into another Tuesday night evening blend. I'm Pop Blender, and with me is Matthew Matson with Cringer, Red Sonja, and Conan.
Well, the legendary barbarian.
Okay, well, I almost nailed it.
Well, yes, I mean he's Conan, just the mythic legions.
Okay,
but they can't say he's Conan,
they
so they
can't
call him.
say it. They can't.
Well,
say
because
it.
he also came with He-Man hair and
Lies.
and that is courtesy of 3-Star Draw. So thank you
nice
for that.
Very
bud.
nice. Hell yeah, yeah, very nice. Speaking of 3-Star Draw, we have some news and other interesting things, this and that, pertaining to 3-Star Draw. He's had a pretty, so it's amazing the highs and the lows, Matthew, that we go through as human beings, isn't it?
Yep.
You can be as high and on top of the world by winning a majestic creature toy that was up for raffle, so to speak, or giveaway. And then you can also be as low as your crystal ball being canceled. You know, it's the mountaintop and the valley all in a matter of a couple of days, my friend. Speaking
The
of mountaintops,
highs and lows of
yeah.
plastic crack.
The highs and lows of plastic crap. And I'm sure you guys that are here already know all too well about the highs and lows of the plastic crap.
No, crack.
Oh, I thought you said crap.
No.
It's like plastic crap. Well, I could call it crack. I could call it crap. Whatever. It's even sometimes, not gonna lie, even sometimes when I'm, looking at my classifieds or I'm, whatever, and I'm kind of like, all right, was that a good decision? Was that a wise decision? I'm sure we've all had those internal conversations with ourselves.
Yeah.
It was the best of times and it was the worst of times, my friend. That's right, Turk. So anyway, so that just to get that off the top. Yeah, they had the giveaway for the dragon that everybody's wanted, and that's
How
where.
about this dragon?
Nice. Now, see, this is where I'm a horrible toy collector, because honestly, I know everybody's gunning for that dragon, but I don't remember the name of it. And you guys in the chat are probably like, this motherfucker, like this guy. But
It's
again,
not your bag, man. It's not your
I
bag.
say all the time, I collect the classified line. It's really the only thing I do collect or I seek out. And so a lot of the other toys, a lot of the other stuff I don't know about.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know
Yeah.
that Four Horsemen was giving away a few of the dragons. They were doing super chats. They had a live stream. It was the end of a 24-hour live stream session.
Well, so Mythic Legions, Four Horsemen did give them one, but they weren't giving it away.
Okay, that was it.
So
That's right.
it's
Okay,
it's the Cabal members of
Okay.
the Cabal were giving it away, and I can't think of the name of the stream, unfortunately, but
I
uh,
was trying to look it up. I'm literally scrolling through my
yeah.
YouTube history, but I watched so many
So
damn
yeah,
videos,
right,
I
yeah.
can't figure out.
So it started on Oz's Playhouse, and then went
Yes.
over to another one, and then it finished off with the last one with the giveaway.
Okay.
But it's like Purple Gang Gang, I think, picked it up in the morning, and then the last one I forgot what it was, but
Well, and
Bayathir,
yeah, Bayathir.
Bayathir
Okay.
is the name of
Thank
the
you.
dragon.
Thank you, because I am ignorant in the ways of all of the toys out there. Um, so, um, so yeah, 3-star draw. I think it was Sunday night. Sunday night. Uh, was there look, I mean, out of 500 and some odd people or whatever, I've always been a loser. Okay, the song Deacon Blues by Steely Dan is kind of my song. They got a name for the winners in the world, and I want a name when I lose. They call Alabama the Crimson Tide. They call me Deacon Blues. I
Well,
don't
yeah, so
win shit, okay?
mine was always Tom Petty. Even the losers get lucky sometimes.
Oh wow, yeah, okay. And that's hey, that's true. That's true. You just never know when your number is going to get called. And three
Yeah.
star draw's number got called, and he got so they had one all in dragon with a custom base that was given
Oof,
away.
oof, oof.
And then as they got more and more super chats and they just kept getting flooded and flooded and flooded, he said, we're going to give another one away. And we're going to give all the extras, all the stretch goals and all that kind of stuff. And they drew the second one, and 3-star draw won the second dragon, which, I mean, for those of you that have pre-ordered it, obviously, and you know how much you want it and care about it, right? I mean, we all do in some shape, form, or fashion with all these toys that we buy. And so yeah, so he was able to get that. Conversely, uh, he just put out a video. I'm gonna post it in the chat. He just put out a video about an hour ago or so, about his crystal ball pre-order getting canceled by Walmart. And so before you and I jump into that conversation, because we were having a little bit of it backstage, I do want to jump into our chat and acknowledge those who are sliding into our DMs here.
Acknowledge me.
Triple D's Dungeon. I love it. Yes, pop goes the blender. Pop goes the blender. Third base, if I'm right. And that wasn't that Third Base, the band, the rap group Third Base. They had that song "Pop Goes the Weasel." Pop
Ooh.
pop goes the weasel. That's a jam, dude. And listen, stick tight, Triple D. I mean, a minute and a half. Me and Matthew have to get all the niceties out of the way with each other. Sabir's here. Hope you're having a good week, Sabir, for sure. Turton Murphy's in the house as well. And then to add to the good old Walmart cancel pre-orders with a quickness, Nightfall Shockwave, 2-pack Quorum Falcon's Revenge. For man. So it's not just a one-time thing. This is
Nope.
Yeah, that sucks, Sabir. Damn.
Nope.
Yeah, for sure. Joe Fan 84 in the house as well. And we'll get there as we keep rolling along. Usually have a few lurkers, which is understandable, as I too am a lurker sometimes, even maybe to my own streams. I don't know. I'm trying to grow my channel inorganically. That's what it is.
Does rewatching your own streams count?
I don't even know. I don't even know. I'll be honest with you too, as we kind of get started here. Man, I don't go back and watch my streams. Like, I really don't. I know some people may be obsessed with seeing what they sound like and stuff like that. I don't really go
Yeah.
back and look at them. If there's a moment or there's something that I remembered that I kind of want to remember, I'll go back and maybe take a look. But I won't put my own one on and watch it. It's not that I don't like to hear myself talk, because I talk all day at work or all night at work is what I
Mhm.
do for a living. But at the same time, I lived it, right? I kind of did it. So I don't know what else I can add.
Yeah.
And so and see, Sabir, so you're like me too, man, right here. I watch sometimes while I'm messing with my Joes, so I'm not always in the chats, right? Not always be in the chats. I think we're all like that, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
we've got it second screen or on the
Mhm.
TV, or maybe just have your phone sitting over there while you're doing something, right? We're all that way for real. And so if you guys aren't in the chats, that's okay. It is truly okay, unless you feel compelled to really jump in, you know. And I had some jumping in on Sunday night, that's for sure. That was an interesting stream. It's an interesting stream. But anyway, but yeah, let's talk about this Walmart thing for a second. Okay. So you and I were talking before we went on, and I was saying that, like, I always go with Pulse or Hasbro or Pulse, right? In my mind, they're the same company. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm ordering from Hasbro. And so I always go with them because I generally have never been done wrong. And so but then you were like, "Oh no, there's been some issues before in the past, and they're also not the same company." Is that correct? Is that how that breaks down?
Well, so I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it is its own storefront. It is
Okay.
not, it's not Hasbro. It's a company that sells Hasbro product, and it is tied to them, but it is not. Well, it isn't Hasbro, which is why they can sell Super Seven stuff on that website now, right? And so
Okay.
they can do stuff like that. They could sell other things, but they sell pretty much exclusively Hasbro or Hasbro related products.
Okay.
But like their t-shirts aren't made by Hasbro, they're made
Oh
by
yeah,
somebody else,
yeah. I
you
mean,
know?
Hasbro branded
Yeah,
IPs, right?
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, technically. So that I understand then, and in my mind, I guess I'm just as far as simple minded like that. I'm thinking, oh, it's Hasbro, right? You know what I mean? But I guess that does make sense, right?
yeah.
Now with Walmart, Walmart's weird, man, because like, you might be scrolling through and see something you want to buy on your phone, and but it's really a third party
Mm-hmm.
seller, right? Like you
Yep.
you all of a sudden you look, you think, "Oh, I'm going to get this whatever it is for 19.99," and then when you click on the actual thing and all of a sudden you see that it's like $48 and you're like,
Right.
"Oh, hey, wait a minute, hang on." And you find out that it's not actually Walmart, right?
Yep.
It's a third party seller through Walmart.
You have to
Um
dig deep on Amazon and all these sites now to find out that whether it's being sold by that company or if it's being
right.
sold by a third party. And you can usually tell by the price. If it's not the normal retail price, or
Right.
a couple pennies off because of sales or discounts or whatever, then you're buying it from a third party.
Yeah, and there's, man, it's kind of funny when I look on Walmart sometimes. There's some weird ass pricing, right? We're totally used to the 99 thing, right? Ninety
Yep.
nine, 99, 98, maybe, whatever. But
47,
yes, there's some weird ass pricing on Walmart
63.
sometimes. Shit. It's I mean, and I rarely do order anything online from them. So what I want to know is in the chat, if you guys, how many of y'all did order Crystal Ball? How many of you went through Walmart or did you go through Pulse? You have not gotten an email yet saying that your payment information, you need to change it, right? That's what happened to Three Star. He
Correct. As far as I know, the money was reserved or taken out of my account last week, and my
okay.
order has been stuck in the prepared for shipping to arrive on April 10th since then.
Oh shit! And of course, yeah, it's not going to get there on the 10th. There's no shipping notice, right? Like there's no, it's on the way. It's
Okay,
no.
so it's coming from a local distribution warehouse, and with
Okay.
as many classifieds that are still in my WalMarts, there's about two of them that don't carry them anymore, but
Okay.
the rest of them still do. There's enough classifieds out here that I don't imagine that it would not be hitting a distribution center.
I
And if it's
mean,
hitting
you would
hitting
think.
the distribution center, then it will go out same day, or it's already there waiting to go out.
Okay.
And I believe that that is the case, and that's why it was charged. Is that they have to wait till the release date to ship them, and then
Yeah,
have them on your
yeah.
doorstep the day it's supposed to release, which is Thursday.
So he's supposed to be out Thursday.
Yeah.
That is like the date. So where I ordered through Pulse, there's no telling,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I've got no notification. Dreadnought K6, I did want to say what's up to you and Woody Triple Deuce. What's up, buddy? Um, yeah. Oh, and Todd C is snuck in here and saying scalpers salivating over this crystal ball. That's kind of interesting. Woody says. Ordered crystal ball from both and haven't received a Walmart cancellation yet. And I've got I looked it up, so I'm going to show it here in a second. Um, and then let's see, Joe Fan 84. I got dial tone on eBay, and the seller had it listed as in hand. Oh yeah,
No.
oh yeah. 2 weeks later, no shipping notice or anything. I messaged the seller, and he says it's stuck in China. And I'm sure you did get upset with him, right? Because if it was in hand, of
Yep.
course
It's when you file a
it'd
complaint, you
be
cancel.
there.
Yeah, you cancel it,
Yeah.
file a complaint.
Yep.
And
That is definitely a complaint on that seller
yeah,
for sure because that's
they,
obviously
they they
lying
lied in
and
the
telling you.
description.
Yeah, man. And yeah, Todd C, if you could trade him for a snake armor, you may find somebody. Go to that one of them Facebook classified groups. You probably will find somebody. For sure. Yeah, so I ordered him from Pulse. I haven't got any notifications. But I did look up just to kind of present this. Um, I did look up Walmart cancels GI Joe classified orders, and so there's only really one thing that makes any sense because this Facebook here is from Full Force and it's old. But this one, Walmart canceled Crystal Ball order, and I'm like, okay, I'm curious. And so this was 2 days ago. Walmart canceled Crystal Ball order out of stock. Kind of pissed off about this one. So here's what, and there's all kinds of theories out there. This happens, right? We all kick around theories. We all go, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. This one here says apparently Walmart cancels pre orders not because they're out of stock, but because the stores near you won't be getting any stock and they get shipped from the closest store slash distribution center to your house.
Mm-hmm.
They say, which is bullshit. It shouldn't matter if the stores near me are getting the item. I'm paying for shipping. So that's one theory. Now, Three Star Draws was a payment deal.
Yeah.
He's had payment that's been used multiple times, and yet for some reason, it was saying you need to change your payment information. And then he even chatted with them, even talked to them. No, it's all good. Don't worry about it. And then, of course, he gets the your order's been canceled notification, right? Um, and then this kind of devolves somewhat into I ordered mine when it went live. I ordered mine 5 minutes later and all
Mm-hmm.
that. But that the one in particular, which was saying that, the shipping part of it being at a closest distribution center to your house and they're out of stock. I don't think that has anything to do with a payment. I don't think they would cancel your order because they've run out or don't have enough and then blame it on a payment issue.
Right.
I can't, that would be grounds for, something else altogether, I would assume. Right. Um, but that's all I can really find on that. So I don't
Yeah.
know if this is a mass problem or it's just a few people. I don't know how many crystal balls got made. I don't know how
Yeah.
many are, is it, was it 2,000, eight
Well,
thousand? I mean,
yeah.
who
Who
knows,
knows?
right?
For me, Walmart's been notorious for having issues with pre-orders. And
Word chest is here and Jesus hates him.
uh, but from ordering, pre-ordering albums to other items that you're like, okay, this is coming out, so let's pre-order it, see what happens. Payment method is an issue. PayPal is sometimes an issue. The distribution thing that they're talking about is an issue. So Walmart does weird stuff, just like Target does weird stuff. They all do weird stuff unless you are locked into their system, and you work it that way, because like if you have a Target credit card, then you're good on pre-ordering anything,
Okay.
right? And so Walmart, you got to be an insider, you got to pay for the extra stuff on the app and
Right.
all that kind of stuff before they pay attention. So
Man, I just, it's never ending fodder though, right?
yeah.
Like this is something and I don't know, maybe this is normal. Look, let's say all of us here and I want to say hey to The one and only 3-star draw there. So I was watching your favorite show. I know he's talking about Daredevil Born Again. I'll watch it when we get done and assess from there. There you go. Yep, showing it off to you, 3-star. And then
With
grass
his
in the
buddy,
house as well.
he had his buddy today with him.
Yeah, that's that cartoon version too. I love those cartoon version ones. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
that was on deep discount.
so let's say we were all collectors of fuck, I don't know, candles. Okay, let's say we were all collectors of candles or something, whatever. Does this happen in the candle community? Does this happen in the boot community or just? And I know it's different because you're talking about maybe mass produced items as opposed to, something that's got a much lower number, right? It's not an everyday use item. It's a specific niche of people that are buying something. But is this something that just happens all the time? Like I don't. I hear about it all the time. I guess kind of read about it all the time, but I haven't experienced that myself. I haven't had the random cancel. I've had so just truth be told, now I tell people this. Every pre-order I do, every online purchase I make, I use a prepaid card.
Mhm.
And that way the number doesn't get, if it gets taken, look, it's got enough. There's what's on my card. So I'll
Right.
load it up and I'll buy the pre-orders, or I'll load it up when it says, hey, you're about to get charged, and I'll just make sure it's all good. And that's what I do. And I've never had a problem with that.
Right.
I've never had a problem. And so we're not talking about a bank, right? Not technically, or at least I say what we think of as a bank. But
Right.
that's how I do it. And I've never really experienced that issue. Viper Scout, what's going on? Bobby Wold is here as well since they canceled my
What's up?
crystal ball claiming payment issues. So that's what happened to 3-star. I
Yeah.
made sure PayPal had no problems. Plus, I also ordered a second item with crystal ball that I did get. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, 3-star, right. There's absolutely no way to prove what happened or
Yeah.
why. And when you talk to anybody, they don't know why. They can't
Right.
tell you. They say, well, maybe it's a glitch. Well, if that's a glitch, that's a serious problem because Walmart sells a lot of items. So we're talking about something
Maybe
specific to
maybe it
somebody.
was that deliverer who just didn't want to keep coming to your house and delivering stuff and was going to get mad at you for ordering so much stuff online. You saw those videos?
Wait, what? Repeat that again. Sorry.
There's a whole series of videos online about delivery people getting pissed off at having to deliver stuff to somebody's house every freaking day. It's like, you
Oh,
get out of your house, and they like throw the packages and yell at their ring
yes.
camera about it.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
so
I
maybe
have.
the Walmart drivers just are tired of delivering to your house, 3-star.
They're just like, fuck this. It's way out of the way. I'm tired of driving out here. It's every, he's buying detergent one day and then I got to drop off some deodorant the next day, right? It's like, no, just buy all this shit together, man. Not one at a time. Fuck. Last week it was a toothbrush. It's like,
Same day delivery. Got to protect
evidently.
those teeth, otherwise you lose them all.
Hey, shoot for that, man. Hey, that's the truth. Walmart, the nemesis of toy collectors. I've heard that not once, not twice, but 3 times a lady. That's for sure. And what he says, if somebody's saying if you paid up front, they didn't cancel it. I mean, can you do that?
No, you can't. See,
I
so
was gonna
so
say, I don't know how you would be able to do that. I don't think it allows for that.
you think you do that, but you don't because it puts a hold on your card for a period of time. Then the hold goes away, and then right before it
Yes.
ships, they charge you again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not again, but they charge you for it at that
Well,
time.
and luckily Joe Fan, as far as the eBay thing, got resolved. So he actually was able to resolve that and did get it shipped. But if it was stuck in limbo or stuck in China, supposedly, and then
Yeah.
what would happen if like after after tomorrow, like then they were like, well, it's gonna actually cost you more. So you're gonna have to
Hmm.
give me $8 more. Whatever. It's like, oh no.
So yeah, so something like that happened to me with a uh, Walmart or Amazon or something. I forget what it was, but there was a company that tried to pull something like that on me. Oh, well, that's item's no longer in stock. If you want that uh, shipped to you, it's going to cost you X dollars more. And I go, excuse me? They
Wow.
gave me stuff for free after that.
Wow. Um, I mean, I guess this is a pretty common thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking through and I'm just kind of seeing where Joe Fan says GameStop canceled my dial tone. Todd
Hmm.
C. Silverbolt got canceled. By Amazon. Yeah, I mean, I guess I have not experienced it myself. Now, again, I'm not as active, so the more active you are in the toy market, you increase your chances, right?
Yep.
Of
Yep.
things. The Cat's Lair war chest got canceled on, uh, and he went ape shit, and they got him as Cat's Lair. So, well, usually it doesn't work that way, right? Usually it doesn't, and of course, in Three Stars case, when something's sold out, well, they can't just get it for you again, right?
Right.
It's just a done deal.
Yep.
And so yeah, that's a bummer. I know a lot of people have been going to GameStop in particular. Evidently, a few months ago, several months ago, that became kind of the go-to. All of a sudden, I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably the only thing people are going to GameStop for, right? Because nobody's
They're not
going to
going for
GameStop for
games.
any other reason.
No.
I mean, I used to buy used games. That was the way I played my games, Matthew.
Yep.
I would take 4 or 5 games and I'd trade them in, and I'd get 1 or 2 or 3, and that's how I kept up on playing my games. And now it's like it's not even a thought.
Nope.
Physical, not even a thought. And speaking of physical, Nintendo is getting away from physical
They are.
cartridges. The Switch 2 coming out is really going to be more of a digital console, so to speak, and they're going to try to get you on the
Yeah.
uh,
So
code.
yeah.
You know,
Well, here's the thing. This goes back to the Communist Manifesto, right? You can't own anything, right?
right?
You're only renting, you're leasing these things. They don't want you owning anything, and so it comes down to physical media. They don't want to make physical media because it's expensive, so they say digital media,
Sure.
but you don't own it, so you're going to pay out the wazoo to play this game, and it's not yours. They can take it away at any time. They can stop funding it. They can delete it from your account. They can do whatever they want to it.
Turn the servers off.
Yeah, I mean, well, that happened on a couple games, right?
That's happened on a lot of games, dude.
Right. Yeah.
Even if it's a bad game, then there's still people playing it. Now I understand the cost of keeping something up as opposed to your player base. It doesn't, if you're upside down in that,
Yeah.
obviously you're not making money. You've got to cut the cord.
Right.
But nonetheless, I mean, there's been games where people paid $100 for, like, or more for a game, and a week later they cut the servers off and just called it a loss.
Yep.
And you don't get a refund. You don't get
Nope.
anything for that. You're just done.
Done.
And I'm with you. You're right. It does cost more money to make the product and get it out. And so the days of us going and getting the cartridge or getting the disc or whatever have, I mean, even if you buy those special pre-orders, even if it's like a $200 special edition, and then you get the case with the game, and then you open it up and there's a card inside with a
Yeah.
code for the game. So you
Yep.
don't even get the actual disc. I mean,
Nope.
so yeah, the world has definitely changed a lot. And I mean, it is what it is. When you're not given any other options, what are you going to do? You're
Yeah.
going to adapt, right? You're going to adapt,
Yeah.
and that's
You
that.
know,
It's just the way it
the
goes.
same thing happened in my work this week. They said the company is no longer paying for business cards. So now you've got this digital QR code so that patients can access your information and contact you or whatever. But I'm like, handing something physical to someone is tactile. It sits in your brain. It's something that they have in their hand. So it's like this is a memory, right? This is a
Right.
physical tactile memory now. So it's not just about the contact information. It's about contact with the patient. And now you've got these QR codes that people are going to have to scan or whatever to access your stuff. It's like they're never going to do it because they don't care, right? It's not
Oh,
the same.
absolutely. Yeah. No, I agree. And yeah, as far as Graph, it's true. You don't usually get a full game. Usually they withhold some content so they can sell it to you as a DLC later. And War Chest, absolutely true. They 100% want to kill the resale
Oh
market,
yeah,
just like the music industry wanted to kill the resale market.
yeah. And look what that did. That just leads to more pirating. So there's going to be more
Yep.
pirates. But they also want it because they want to be able to release a game that's unfinished because they've been releasing a ton of games over the last 15 or 10 years at least that were unfinished so that they can
Yes.
patch it with the DLC that you have to purchase to make your game work,
Yep. No,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's just another part of the scam.
Joe fan, yeah, but they actually did get Titanfall back up and online because I actually watched Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. And when he found out that news, he jumped online that night and did a stream playing Titanfall. And that's Titanfall 2 is one of the best games ever made, campaign anyway.
Yeah,
It's amazing. But yeah, and then lastly, I guess 3 Star says these games are all going to go up too, raising prices on something there's no actual physical item. Yeah,
yeah, ninety
it is
dollars,
100%.
for
Yep,
a Nintendo
absolutely.
game.
Yeah, I find that fascinating because again, you're talking about a console that is 1080p at max resolution.
Hmm.
Now, fine, 120 frames a second. I'd like to ask people in the chat, do you give a shit about 120 frames a second? Or do you care more if the game is in like 4K or a higher resolution than 1080p. Now, ultimately, as long as the game is fun to play, really, who cares,
Yeah.
right? But again,
Most of you old fuckers
1080p
out there can't see above 2K anyway, so I don't know why it matters so much.
and I tell people that all the time. You really can't discern it, right? So
Yeah,
I've got
but
4K TV, and yet
for,
it looks great,
4K
but
4K is the maximum human vision, right?
right.
You can't see higher quality detail than that.
So the 4K 60 docked, 1080, 120 handheld. Most people play the Switch handheld. That's
Yeah,
just the truth of it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but not only is it going for $450, but yes, their games are going to be between 80 and $100. And it's funny because I would have never thought Nintendo
Yeah.
between Microsoft and
Yep.
PlayStation and Sony.
N- Never
Nintendo
thought.
was the one that was going to set the market on
Yep.
$90 games. I would have
Yep.
never thought Nintendo would be the one to set the market. And now that they've done it, guess what? GTA 6, yeah,
Hmm.
gonna be $100 game. God of War, whatever, gonna be $100 game. You watch
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna happen. And I know gaming is not your
Well,
forte, I
no,
guess,
but I
but
mean, you're pricing people out of the market. You're not enticing new buyers. You're going to feed the old
sure,
buyers until they're gone. I mean, it's like toy collectors right now, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
it's you keep hiking up the prices, then nobody can. The barrier to entry is too high. Comic book prices are the same
absolutely,
way. All these
yes,
things you keep raising prices because you want to make more money off of it, but you're diminishing returns. You're getting fewer and fewer buyers because you're either not producing good stuff or the market is changing and you're not adapting to that market.
a
So
hundred percent.
it's a failure when you see this stuff happen. So
Yeah, it is. The reason I wanted to bring it up because I went to bring it up the other night, and the stream kind of got a little off kilter, and then I kind of got a little behind, and which is all good. But the reason I want to bring it up because I do play a lot of video games. I love video games, and it is part of one of my hobbies, one of my main hobbies. And I have a Switch. I have a Nintendo Switch. I've got an Xbox Series X, and I've got a PlayStation 5, and a PC. I've got all the things, and not a big online gamer, but yeah, I do buy games, and I do have Xbox Games Pass, which I think is probably the best deal if you are a gamer. For $20 a month, you can basically play all kinds of shit. Um, but it is something that's important to me, and I know several people in the chat play games as well, and so it's something I definitely wanted to bring up. Todd C, I did not. I was thinking about that today because my phone now is starting to not be as compatible like
mm.
certain apps because it's a few generations behind. So yeah, Todd, thanks for the reminder. I do I do, and they do have games on the phone, but I can't play. I can watch YouTube all day long, but I can't play games on my phone.
Yeah,
Um, I
no.
don't know. Well, I tell you what, let's jump into it. We do have uh, got some news to get to, and then also as far as a topic, I want to talk about video game adaptations here in a little while.
All right.
And the question is that the new MCU? So we'll get into that here in a little while. We've got a little bit of news. It's kind of a somewhat of a slow news week, I guess, in movie front. But as always, let's at least jump into the current box office, and we'll kind of move through it swiftly. As you guys would assume, the Minecraft movie is probably well on its way to over $1 billion, I would assume.
Yeah, we'll see.
One weekend in release, 162 domestic, 162 million domestic. Uh, Kids and people that grew up playing Minecraft are going to see this movie.
Yep.
Absolutely going to see this movie. Without a doubt, it is huge.
Yep.
And if you did go see it with kids this past weekend, I'd love to know what your experience was because evidently theaters have been rather unruly. It's there's kids throwing popcorn, there's people getting kicked out, there's all kinds of crap going down.
Well, there's a lot of adult humor and innuendo that they kind of shove in your face, literally, as
Yes.
well. That's not
So
appropriate for some of the kids watching it that want to go see it. So,
it's pretty wild though because like I so just to give you an idea, you know, if I can bring it up here real quick, I'll show it. So kids like these are kids getting taken out by like police too. Police have been coming in. People throwing popcorn.
Something
Um,
absolutely wild happened during a recent showing of
Yeah, I don't care about that. But kids throwing popcorn and people trying to watch the movie. It's like it's gotten a little out of control. And so I want to know if anybody had gone to go see it. If you do have kids, let me know. Um, but it's blown up. And it's not a great movie from
no.
all aspects that I've heard. Not a great movie, nothing special. The plot is pretty bone standard.
But in one weekend, it beat the entire box office run for Snow White.
Yeah, absolutely. Just absolutely crushed it. And I'm so happy for that. A working man, Chosen, Last Supper Part Two. Those shows, The Chosen and that stuff, man, that stuff does well for
Yeah.
who it is for or who is watching. It does very well.
Yep.
Snow White hanging in there after 3 weekends in release. Man, not even a 100 million domestic. That's fucking rough. The Woman in the Yard is the dumbest premise on a horror movie that I've ever seen that nothing happens in. A woman grieving, sitting on a bench, and then she just gets closer and closer as the movie goes on. It's seems rather boring to me. Death of a Unicorn, I've heard about. A24. Then you have The Chosen, Last Supper Part One. And then Hell of a Summer, new to me, couldn't tell you. The Friend, new to me, couldn't tell
Mm.
you. And then rounding out the top 10, Captain America Brave New World. So the Minecraft movie at 162 after one weekend, and Captain America has 199 domestic after 8. That's brutal, bro. That's brutal. Holy
Yeah.
shit, man. I mean,
Yeah.
and 3 Star says, how long did The Last Supper take that it takes 3 movies to talk about it?
I don't know.
Um,
Is
how
Christopher
many
Nolan
courses?
or Martin Scorsese making it again?
Are they Italian? Are there 7 courses? Where's the tiramisu?
I mean,
You know?
it could all be just second by second, real time for the Last Supper, right? And so you got to go through the 6 hour dinner before he gets arrested, right?
Right? Um, man, that's pretty good 3 Star, I gotta tell you, actually. Um, yeah, you know, Twisted Metal, Fallout, pretty good series. Yeah, talking about the video game franchise taking over. But Minecraft, man, it's making some noise, man. It's getting, I mean, it really is. It's getting nuts. And it's gonna continue, even though, like I said, all accounts, the movie's nothing special.
Right.
Jack Black, I used to love Jack Black 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You
20
know,
years
15
ago,
years
he was
ago.
funny.
Uh, but Now I don't know. Menjoza's in the house. What's up, Menjoza? Viper Scout says, "Will Thunderbolts do better than Captain America?"
No.
I don't know because it's really up in the air. We don't know anything about it, really.
And the asterisk
Marketing,
means that Thunderbolts isn't the real title of the movie.
it's really weird, man. It's really weird, and I think the marketing for it has been pretty light,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that
you know
kind
what
of
they
tells you
speculate
something sometimes.
you know what they speculate that the actual name of it is?
The Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Um, and I guess obviously if you know comics and know the Dark Avengers, um, I just don't. They just haven't marketed that movie well. I equate it to fucking Superman,
I was
bro.
gonna say they haven't marketed Superman well either.
Superman. I mean, dude, and I've got something to bring up here as far as Superman's concerned here in a few minutes. But
And
Superman,
Fantastic Four doesn't everything that
Fantastic
comes out
Four. We don't
looks worse and worse.
we don't know anything. Now, look, I don't want the trailer to tell me
Right.
everything. I don't
Yeah.
want that. I don't
Right.
like that. I don't want that.
Yep.
But you got to give me something to go off of, right? You
Yep.
got to give me some idea of a centralized plot, or what are we fighting for, or what are we going to see? And Thunderbolts, yeah, we've gotten little one-liners here and quips and this and that, but I got no idea. I
Yeah.
have no idea. Mendoza, don't you worry about it. Oh shit! Sorry for being late. California sucks. My neighbor just walked in on some stranger on her couch. That could happen anywhere as well, but I do like your California sucks comment.
Well, it's harder to get them out of your house in California because once they're there, they're tenants.
Are they if they're getting mail? Getting mail. Yeah, I agree. 20 years ago, he was cool. Now he's annoying. Three-star Jack Black is the Jason
Yeah.
Statham of comedy. Yeah, isn't Seth Rogen the same in every comedy he makes?
I never thought Seth Rogen was funny, but
You know what I mean? They should call it Dark Days, the future of Marvel. And that's why I wanted to talk about here in a little bit the video game adaptations being the new MCU, right? And if the MCU has run its course, even though they're planning on putting out a bunch of new shit, we'll see. But I definitely want to get your opinion about it, Matthew, because I've got a few movies and to bring up, and we can even go all the way back. We go all the way back to like the 80s or 90s if we want to and talk about some of those video game adaptations and where we're at now,
yeah.
But yeah, Thunderbolts, man, you know what? I'm gonna see it because some of the people in it I do like, but I'm not expecting much.
Right.
If that makes sense. It
Yep.
is kind of the Suicide Squad for the Marvel universe. And Woody, he's just on movies altogether.
Yeah.
Woody's just done with movies. I can understand that. I really can.
When they fail you so many times and they're not making content that it's interesting anymore, they don't entice you to come in to see it. COVID broke the habit of going to the movies. What is the point? I mean, I have a library of 2,000 movies, DVDs, Blu-rays of the things that I like and I enjoy that I can always go back to and rewatch anytime I want.
Yeah, no, and I think more and more people are getting that way. I think going to the movie theater, and we talked about it. We talked about it, last time about the death of movie theaters or what would get you to go to the theater, and when there's not as many movies, not as many good movies, when the prices are so high, right?
Yep.
So we went over all that, but I totally get it. Now, 5 reasons a Minecraft movie became a record-breaking box office success. All right.
They're going to take all the wrong lessons.
100% they will. Let's see. Here we go. 150 million to produce before global marketing expenses. That's evidently that was kind of the budget. They're hoping Minecraft will help turn the box office tides. It says prior to this weekend, box office revenues were nearly 11% behind last year, 40% behind 2019, which makes sense. The gap has shrunk to 5.3% behind 2024, 35% behind 2019. They're saying it's got an all audience appeal. I'm not sure I agree with this bold statement that Minecraft movie has an all audience appeal. Um, if you're a boomer, like they call us, which we're not truly boomers,
Right.
um, it doesn't appeal to me. I played Minecraft with my son, but it's not a game I'd play on my own. Now, I'm
Right.
not saying that people don't. I'm not saying anybody out there that's listening doesn't. But technically speaking, like it's a game. If you've had a kid in the last 15 years, they have played the shit out of Minecraft. Okay. Um, but chances are you haven't. Marketing tie-ins. Now, I will say
Mm-hmm.
this. This is something they've done big time. McDonald's, Happy Meal stuff, right? You know, specialty cups, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, Doritos, right? You name
Yep.
it. You're seeing the branding. And that's something that was common for decades, right? Branding on all kinds of products that you could pick up and buy. Special glasses, collection.
Right.
Uh, Pent up demand after disasters and disappointments of all shapes and sizes. The box office was desperate for a hit. Enter Minecraft.
Yeah.
I could agree with this one. Again, I'm not sure that Minecraft is the all encompassing, movie to do it,
Yeah.
but, video game boom. Now, this is the one that I have to agree with wholeheartedly because you can be 50 and play video games because you've grown up on them, and you can be 5 and play video games because you've grown up on them, and every age in between. And so I think that has a lot to do with why this movie has done so well. Is that you know video game properties are becoming as big as all your other movie properties and all your other franchises. Um, they really are, and we'll kind of delve into it here in just a little bit. Um, yeah, Woody, Minecraft only a hit because everything else is so fucking bad. Yeah, I, you know, I also attribute it a lot to that as well. Is that, yeah, there's been a lot of bad movies. Nothing is drawing people to the theater
Yep.
unless it's a horror flick. Horror movies tend to do that. They're cheap
Yep.
to make, and people like to be scared. It just is. Um, so just off the top, 313 million globally over the first weekend. Um, this will have a sequel. I have no doubt about it. It'll have a sequel because it's going to make its money back and then some. And what do every movie studio do when they have a huge hit?
Yeah.
Make a sequel.
They cash in. They cash in. They
Yeah.
cash in. It's
Yeah.
a franchise
Yeah.
now.
It's a franchise. They make a sequel, and so yeah, I have no doubt that Minecraft will have a sequel. I don't have any desire to see this movie personally. Is it
No.
something you're gonna go check out, or with the fam, or anything
Nope.
like that? Is anything y'all have any interest in at
Not
all?
not not one bit. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Black. The movie's got humor that's not appropriate for my daughter, or
Yeah,
anyone, I don't think. But um, and there's no story. There's no plot. There's nothing that actually happens in the movie.
right.
There's some other contextual things that I don't think I appreciate. So there's
Yeah.
no reason for me to go see it.
Well, and that's why I wanted to ask because I didn't know if that was one of the things that was like, hey, fam, let's pack up and go, go check it out. It looks like a family movie.
Yeah.
It's being marketed as such, pretty much. Frank Dumanu's in the house. What's up, Frank?
Oh,
Good to see you, buddy. Um, yeah, it's now this is one. What do you think? Pong, a live action Pong movie?
didn't they try that? I thought they tried that already.
I think it's
Wasn't it
probably a
called
Family Guy
Pixels?
skit. Oh shit, Pixels.
That was more of a Pac-Man movie, I guess.
Oh
But
yeah, but man, that was a disaster. Disaster. It also had
It was a
your
fun
buddy
movie.
Lord Tyrion. What's his
Yeah, yeah,
name?
that's right.
What's that little fucker's name?
Uh,
Fucking shit. Oh, God. Why does his name escape me right now?
yeah, because you really need to know it. That's
I
what it
know.
is.
Oh my God. And you know the thing about Pixels is that should have been a huge hit because it brought in all of those properties and it was like a
Yeah, yeah.
callback to the
You've got
old days, you know?
you've got Adam Sandler leading it. He was still pretty funny at the time. But
Uh,
yeah, no. God,
you know, I don't know if Minecraft told Sonic to suck it, but that's pretty good. I like that. I like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of stuff. I definitely do. Yeah, War Chest, Marvel throwing a Hail Mary with Downey as Doctor Doom. Yeah, that's I can't wait. I can't wait till that stuff starts coming out. I can't wait to get into that stuff because we're going to compare it, obviously, compare
and
it to
you know
what came before.
they're dying to have Chris Evans sign that dotted line to come back
Oh
as Hydra
God,
Cap.
yes. You already know what they're
Yeah,
gonna do with that shit.
yeah,
They're salivating at him being
yeah,
a Hydra. They want that Yahtzee influence, man. They love that shit.
yeah,
Yeah, then Joza, just waiting for Disney Lucasfilm to ruin Knights of the Old Republic. I agree, 100%. I
yeah.
love Knights of the Old Republic. I would definitely hate for them to do that, but I would love to see it. That's the problem. And there it is, Viper Scout, Peter Dinklage.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, what the fuck? Oh, we didn't. You know what? The Tron trailer came out too. Yeah, the Tron
Yeah.
trailer, and I
I
forgot all about it.
I don't know. My wife's like, yeah, we'll see. I mean, we want to see it. Nine Inch Nails doing the soundtrack might be cool, but Trent Reznor hasn't been the same since the Cheryl Crow incident. But
Yeah, yep. Woody Triple Deuce Tron movie looks amazing. Yep. Turk says I hope it's good. Yeah, I was never a big Tron kid. Never a
well,
big Tron kid. I
I
didn't even when it came out.
oh man, I
When
loved
I
it.
was younger. Yeah,
I ate that stuff up, and I love Tron Legacy. But this one's got Jared Leto in it, so I don't know.
hey, he's one of your favorites, isn't he?
Hey, you know what? I think that he has
Hit or
some
miss.
talent.
Hit
I
or
think he
miss.
has some talent.
He
I just
does.
don't know where it lies.
Yeah, I'm with you. It is kind of tough because he has done some good stuff.
Yeah,
Dallas
oh yeah,
Buyers Club, like he was pretty
yeah,
badass in but Dallas Buyers Club. I give him that all day long.
yep.
And yes, anything on Atari basically sucked, Turk. That's basically how that goes down.
What?
Uh,
Come on!
man,
Didn't you like those pixels jumping across the screen, spurring your imagination onto adventure with Pitfall
Pitfall was one of the better ones.
and
Um, I guess you could say like Asteroid,
yeah,
Defender,
the
maybe
Space
Centipede,
Invaders. Come on,
Space
Centipedes.
Invaders.
Yeah,
But as a kid, hey, look, I'm not gonna lie. That was you had to use your imagination,
yep.
right? For sure. It wasn't spelled out for you on screen. So yes, we did have the wood grain Atari, 2600. We had the 5200 too, and like the
Ooh,
angry video game nerd says, it
yeah,
was a piece of shit. It was a piece of shit. It was basically the same fucking console,
yeah,
just bigger.
yeah,
Like, there was no difference. There was no upgrade. Not like you
yeah.
see now, right? Uh, let's see here, real quick. Says Bobby Wold. I'm hoping the soundtrack for this next movie is just as good as and not modern music. Talking about Tron. Um, Want to see a collector crashing through buildings to the song "I Came In Like a Wrecking Ball." What? What the fuck?
No,
I mean,
no.
don't get me wrong. When that video came out, watched Miley Cyrus sitting naked on a wrecking ball. It's fine with me, I guess. Whatever. Anyway, I just admitted that. Okay, get it out. Naked Gun, definitely. What did you think about the Naked Gun trailer? I didn't ask you, Matthew. What did you think about it? Did you see it?
Yeah, yeah, I saw it for sure. I don't know. Liam Neeson, Leslie Nielsen. I mean, the names are
No, way too
too close together. I think Liam Neeson can pull it off.
I do too.
But what is humor these days? what kind of jokes are they going to pull? You can't do any of. I mean, the funniest bit of that whole trailer was the O.J. Simpson bet when everybody's like,
100%.
praising their father, grandfather, ancestor, whatever, and one guy's like, "Yeah, okay, you were mine. I'm here. No, I'm not praising you."
Yes. Yeah. I think the tone is off. I
Yeah,
think it's a little too violent. If
yeah.
that's the part they showed us, I think it's just a little violent. The fake blood splatter is pretty bad, but that's a fine. I can get over that. But you're right that the style of comedy, it really takes special talent to pull off the one-liner slapstick, like, you know, and I think the tone
Yeah.
is just off a bit.
I don't know anybody who has that kind of deadpan humor anymore.
Man.
I mean, you're looking at Steve Martin, Leslie Nielsen, and a very few handful of others that can pull that kind of humor off.
And look, I'm glad that Hollywood's trying to give us a comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And also, the let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Leslie Nielsen or not Leslie, fuck me. Liam Neeson. Yeah, see how that happens?
yeah.
As a
Steve Carell could do it. Yeah, I
as a
think so
little
too.
girl, but then, they have the whole scene where he's got his leg up on the bench, and it's like you
Yeah.
can see panties or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. Like, what
Well,
the-
so I did think somebody made an interesting point and said, wouldn't it have been even funnier if it was just Liam Neeson the whole time
I
dressed up
agree,
in a little girl
100%. I,
scroll
I agree. They
outfit?
got the joke. They got the joke wrong. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Yes, Liam Neeson dressed as the schoolgirl, as himself,
yeah,
and they believe he's a
yeah.
schoolgirl. They
Right.
believe, yeah. I think that would have
That sets
landed
it
better.
in. That would set itself in the Police
Agreed.
Squad universe because that
Yes.
is the Police Squad universe.
Yes, I agree. ET game on Atari, I agree. It also wasted days of my life as well, Viper Scout, and I agree. There were no guides back then, so it's like, yeah, if you can't figure the game out, you're shit out of luck, dude.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure that game out. Raiders of the Lost Ark was another one. I was like shit out of luck with that game. And yes, hit that like button. Thank you guys because I always forget to say
Is
it.
that him? Was it?
Uh,
There you go. Okay, we're back.
what's that? Oh, did I cut
I didn't
out?
know. Somebody cut out. I don't know if it was me or you, but something happened.
I don't know. I think I'm
Okay.
good. My,
Yeah, we're back now.
all right, very good. Yeah, new Spaceballs movie, Bobby. Yeah, I don't know,
Oh
man.
no,
I
you
think,
can't. I mean, Mel Brooks is probably the only person who can still do
gosh,
comedy.
gosh.
And him writing Spaceballs now, I don't know what he was going to do with it, but if he was to come back and do that, I would go see it because it's Mel Brooks, and I did like that Kung Fu Dog movie that he made, which was basically a remake of Blazing Saddles,
Okay.
but with dogs and cats
I
in an animated cartoon. It was pretty good.
can't tell you I'm familiar with that one. I mean, obviously all the classics that everybody knows, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't need that. I don't want that. I don't
Yeah,
want that. I don't need Spaceballs. That's not the original. I don't think you could try to top it. I don't think you
yeah,
need to
you
try
can't.
to add to it.
Nope.
Charlotte, what's going on? Uh, Punk with Toys is also in his house. What's going on, man? Hope you got my rent check last night. Um, and so here's something that's kind of going on. Might be near and dear to you guys. China threatens to ban U.S. Hollywood movies in explosive retaliation to the Trump tariffs, despite years of studio pandering,
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
true.
the studios pander just to get their movies over there and seen so they can bolster the numbers and lie about it because they only get 25 cents on every dollar for a ticket that's sold in
Yeah,
China,
yeah,
right?
yep,
And so the Chinese government takes all that money, and so the studios aren't making what they say that they are when they talk about the China sales, and then that's why they don't segregate them out from the other international sales.
yes,
Uh,
yes. I mean, look, we're gonna see headlines like this about a lot of shit, and
yeah,
and it's we shall see.
yeah,
It says the potential ban could cost Hollywood over $500 million annually, reshape the global entertainment landscape. I will say this. We do know that Hollywood definitely um, screens certain movies
Mm-hmm.
for the Chinese government to make sure that it's okay,
Yep.
that they don't offend, right? And so that's been a long time now, and I to me that's pretty sad. But it's because they have such a stake in our theaters. They have, such a stake in the movie companies. And so any movie that dares to make fun of or use them as an enemy in a movie, that's why you always see these movies that come up with some geographical enemy.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like some kind of action movie, it'll just be geographical. It won't be a specific country, probably. It'll
Yep.
be just some geographic area. It's and so yeah, we could see this now. Evidently, for the last several years, most American films have not been doing well over there, though.
Nope, they
From
haven't.
what I've understood,
No, because they've been
and
crap anyway.
well, exactly. So to me, I'm like, if you're Hollywood, okay, it's almost like putting money away for savings, and then you get used to it not being there, and then you just forget about it, right? So if you just go ahead and get used to not having that money over there, then you readjust your numbers, you readjust your budgets, you know, and you just go on to business as usual. So,
Yep.
that's to me, that's the way I look at it. But yeah, now a lot of these big tentpole films like your Transformers, your Iron Man, stuff like that, it says they usually have additional scenes for Chinese audiences. Scripts are combed over for politically risky material. Even maps, flags, throwaway lines are altered to pass the Chinese censorship board.
Yep.
So it's not, it's about ticket sales. And how dare you, if you're a director or someone creating something, and you say anything about Taiwan, that won't pass.
Well, you can't say punch a commie in the face either. So
Well, I can
Well,
punch a
yeah.
commie in the face. How about them apples? You like that shit? Come on, China, you son of bitches.
That's another copyright strike for you.
Yeah, my fucking Friday stream got copyrighted because I played the damn Superman trailer.
So you played a public access, not
Fuck.
proprietary, not secret footage, nothing.
It's like, come on. I even stopped it like multiple times. I'm like,
Oh,
how
yeah.
many seconds do I
Yeah,
need to
I mean,
break
one
this
is
shit
I mean,
down?
it does not violate the fair use laws whatsoever.
I mean,
But
come
but
on.
you realize that the people that are striking your channel aren't the actual company. They're
Yes.
they're other groups acting on behalf of that said company.
Well, sadly, I wasn't even criticizing it at all.
Right.
It's like I was just like, okay. The only thing I criticize, and I find it really odd that there's automatons who are helping him heal, and they say that they're automatons and they don't care about nothing but serving him, and yet they go out of their way to introduce a female automaton.
Well, not only that, but the female automaton that has all the emotions, right?
Has a
She
crush on
blushes
him.
and
Yes, she has a crush on Superman.
Yeah.
That shit is stupid.
Even
And-
the female robots are emotional.
And so I'm like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. If you say that you're only here to serve Superman, you don't have thoughts of your own, you're not whatever, and then you introduce a female robot, and then she's got a crush on Superman. I thought that shit
it's
was
dumb.
weird.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's James Gunn humor.
I mean, come on, man. So speaking of weird
Weird.
stories, weird. Speaking of interesting weird stories, I read a story about the guy who played the Nightcrawler in the
Oh.
X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Okay, and I agree, Joe Fan. That is as weird as wiping before you poop.
What about not wiping at all and just going into the shower like that one guy said he did?
Oh wow, yeah,
He's like,
right.
I save on toilet paper. I just
Hop in the shower. I mean, some days you might be taking 3 or 4 showers a day then. That's kind of tough. I mean, he might, dry skin and shit. Who knows? Yeah, Superman does look like hot sewer ass at the moment. So Alan Cumming, okay, folks. So Alan Cumming played the original
Live action Nightcrawler.
live action Nightcrawler in the X-Men universe. And it was in 2003. Now,
Yeah.
the reason I'm only bringing this up, I'm not going to go off on it. I'm not going to make no big stand or nothing. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to show you how two different magazines entities handle the same story.
Yep.
This is Hollywood Reporter. Okay. And all he's saying in their reporting, and it says basically, makeup tests for Avengers Doomsday, SFX, advancements, right? So they're talking about the makeup and how many hours it used to take to do the makeup. And he gives kind of a quote. They kind of give you a thing. He's going to be in the new Marvel's Avengers Doomsday, right? So they're bringing him back with a lot of the other X-Men. And he's talking about on a show, he says it was like 4.5 hours to 5 hours of makeup. He said now it's 90 minutes. So he's basically in this article just talking about the makeup artists and how, it used to take 4 hours or 5 hours. And now they just kind of stick little things on his face. They probably do some of it through CGI or whatever. And he's like, man, I can't wait to start shooting. It's been 23 years since I was a superhero. And he said, I love the pre-production, and everybody who I've met on the project seems very lovely. And then they go into, the latest Avengers film has all these actors, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's it. So that's all there is for this. Now, here is basically the same article. It's just fascinating. I find this stuff fascinating personally. Come on, load for me, baby. There we go. All right. This is by Variety. Alan Cummings says his Avengers Doomsday got his transformation down to 90 minutes. It was 4.5 hours to become Nightcrawler for X2.
Okay, so you told us everything you need to know about the entire story. The only content that's actually there in the headline.
Yes, it's in the headline. Okay. Now, however, this is how Variety handles this article. And so he says, hey, they quote the same interview, the same show, on the same thing. He says the same stuff. Now it's only 90 minutes. He says before all the tattoos were done by hand. Now they do them on your face real quickly. And then it says, hang on a minute. He went viral last year. So the article changes now. He went viral last year for calling X2 X-Men United the gayest film he ever worked on. It's got a queer director, lots of queer actors in it. I love the fact that something so mainstream and so in the comic book world is so queer. And then the rest of the article talks about Ian McKellen, gay perspective. It literally talks about the allegory of the X-Men, which everybody tries to do. They try to use the X-Men as an allegory for whatever movement, right? Or whatever. And so this article is framed the same way as the Hollywood Reporter article, except they use literally the back end of it to then shoehorn in this part.
To backdoor.
To backdoor. to backdoor. Wow, you're fantastic, by the way. This part into the article, and the reason I want to bring it up is not because I don't give a shit. Okay, I don't care, but I do find it interesting that the headline and everything mentions none of that. It just talks about the makeup, and then the whole second half of the article there, it's amazing how two different rags cover the same thing.
Yep.
Right.
So I, Nightcrawler is actually one of my favorite X-Men. He probably is my favorite X-Man. And I liked him in X Factor, and I loved him in the cartoon and in the X2 because he was the only character that I saw on television at the time that was religious of any kind. I mean, he's Catholic.
Yeah, for sure.
And in an animated series, they showed that, and then in the movie, they showed that.
Right.
But since then, in X-Men '97, they kind of stripped all that away. and in the other X-Men movie that they did with a Nightcrawler in it that really wasn't Nightcrawler. They took away all of that aspect of his character. So I've always been a fan of him for who he was in the comics and previous iterations. If they bring that back, I'm all for it. If they take the modern version of him, then I don't really care to see it.
And you know, and the reason I brought that up as far as the article, because I honestly I don't care. And you know, somebody's experience on a film set, and if they feel a movie is coded, which is the new term, coded a certain way,
Yep.
and all that stuff. Okay, fine. It's like going to see Wicked. If you don't think for 1 second that the
Hell
Wicked
yeah.
cast and all the people working on it, I don't care about that.
Right.
I just felt it was interesting how the article over the same exact thing, and one magazine decides to then, you know, bait and switch the viewer, the reader, right, on the presentation of the article.
Yeah.
And
Well, that goes against your narrative though, because they're all supposed to be reading from the same script.
man, usually they are, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
did cover that too.
Yeah.
Is this, you know, is it, you know, I don't know. Is it
the gayest project Marvel has ever done.
don't know. It might be 3-star. It
You know
might
what?
be.
I agree with some people. I think that reporter is the best troll of them all.
He is something else, man. And I'll tell you what, he has definitely earned his keep amongst like the
Yes.
pop culture crowd, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, and he's probably true blue, 100%,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, all about
Oh
it.
yeah.
But man, oh man, is it not the funniest thing to hear him ask that question over and over and over on every red carpet practically.
Right.
He is proud and loud, and for that I am a-okay, man.
Yep.
By all means. um, yeah, I like the Mystique in those versions too. I don't care for
Hey, well,
the
that's why they brought
Jennifer
her back and not
Lawrence.
Jennifer
Yeah,
Lawrence.
100%. Yeah, yeah. And as far as the Iceman, you know, and you know, is that in the comics? I think too. I mean,
Well,
I
they
know
changed it.
Superman's
Yeah.
son and all that,
Yeah.
and those books did not do well. But let's look at, you know,
Well,
the truth is the demographic of your comic book audience. You know, I mean, it's probably not going to be okay with that, or at the very least, it's
Yeah.
foreign to them. You know, it's
So
foreign to them.
Iceman was literally the tip of the iceberg, right? I mean, he was the one that kind of started the whole trend of turning all the superheroes gay.
And it was but it also was very like, because then like all of a sudden you started seeing like all the DC books, you know, especially with the females,
the
and
original
then, you
Green
know, and even
Lantern,
Marvel.
you know.
Yeah, yep. You started to see it. It was like a free for all, so to speak.
Yep.
It really was, you know, and now though the problem is, I think that if you guys still read comics, that readers are wanting Mary Jane and Peter Parker to be back together, but they've decided in one of the books to keep them apart, you know, and everybody's like, no, we like them together. And so, but yeah, they're like, no, sorry, you know, we want to keep them apart, you know, and yeah, I don't know, you know, it is what it is, but
Yeah.
let's see here. Yeah, War Chest, love Nightcrawler, amazing. Excalibur, Alan Davis, Paul Neary is still my favorite artist.
Yeah.
Teams.
Yeah.
And Sharlock, the good old Sharlock, just hoping for a new take on the X-Men. I liked the X-Men when I was a kid, and I did get some of the comics. I wasn't a huge fan. Menjoza has it right, though. Firestar, dude. I'd love to see that shit. Iceman, Firestar. That'd be cool. I'd be down with that. I would be down. Lunchbox. Killer. 805. What's up? What's good with you, my friend? Good to see you. Glad you stopped in for a minute. So as we start to get into, I guess, a bit of our topic, because as we kind of lead up to it, The Last of Us Part 2. Did you see The Last of Us season 1, I guess?
No, I mean it wasn't a game that I ever played. I had
Okay.
no interest in it. The only
Okay.
thing that I ever really heard about it was everybody loved the game, and then the second one came out and everybody hated the second one. And so I'm like,
Yes.
okay, if they're going to continue to tell this story and it's going to go this way, then why would I even bother?
So, I watched season one. I thought there was some compelling television there. I did think that there was some good acting. Yeah, it is Pedro Pascal who is the new darling of Hollywood. Bella Ramsey, I could leave her. It's not
Mm.
take or leave her. I'm not convinced. I don't feel she's a good actor. I think
Yeah.
she resembles the kid from Mask, that movie in the 80s.
Whoa, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, but not sorry. But anyway, but I liked the first season. I thought there was some compelling television. I thought there was a very heartfelt scene, episode dedicated to a couple brothers, that didn't end well. I thought that was a great episode, and so I did like it. I did. However, there was a little bit of some stuff, some controversial stuff in there. Talking about a commune, and Pedro Pascal's character's like, well, you talking about communists? And they're like, yeah, that's what we are, and it's, and there's some other dialogue in there. And if you've played the games, you know where the games head to. So, however, this is a video game adaptation that people really have liked.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to that one you
Yeah.
highlighted. But this is a video game adaptation that people really have liked. Now, I'm curious to see what they do with season 2. Oh, Mac and Me. Holy shit, Graf. That's fantastic, dude. Menjoza, they're going to have to tell it out of order, because if they do tell it in
Right.
order, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
They will lose some people.
Well, they'd have to do it in the first or second episode, and then it's going to blow the
Right.
whole thing, and then they're just going to have to use him for flashbacks, or you, again, to have to tell the story out of order.
I agree. Now, reviews have started to come out about the show, and it's pretty obvious that they are telling it out of order.
Okay.
Because if it didn't, you would have a lot more in all these articles I kind of went through. You would have a whole lot more issues or references to a big event.
Yep.
Evidently, they are taking the long approach and the out of order approach.
Yeah.
And that is to tell it out of order for sure. And because yes, if Pedro's character, if you've played the games, or if you know the games, like I don't know. I mean, God, I don't know how this can be a spoiler.
Yeah.
I mean,
Whatever.
if you guys don't want me
Get
to say
your golf
anything about
clubs
it,
out.
if you don't want me to say anything about it, I won't. If you don't give a shit, I will. It's up to y'all. I don't want to, I don't want to piss anybody's Wheaties or whatever.
Casey
But
Jones to Tatsuo and
there
Ninja
are
Turtles.
some major things that do happen involving golf clubs. and Todd C says I can handle Pedro Pascal more than Simu Liu. I agree. 100%.
Well, that's because Pedro does have a little bit of acting talent.
he can act. I'll give him that. No, he can act.
Sometimes he can act. Yeah, Simu Liu doesn't. He's never been able to act.
No.
Well, his best acting was playing himself in the Barbie movie. I mean,
Man, you're not kidding, too. He didn't have to stretch for that at all, did he? I mean, seriously, like that, and Warchest says, I think Bella Ramsey sucks in the way that story is going. I'm out. Yeah.
that's fair.
I'm curious. Oh God, she looks like the Gerber baby if it fell out of a tree.
Ouch. And hit every ugly branch on the way down.
Good God. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's fantastic. So yes. So look, Joel, he doesn't make it. Okay, folks, he doesn't make it. It's horrific. It's awful. And in a video game, the last thing you want to do is in the beginning of it, take out a beloved character.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be pissed.
Right.
Okay. It's a bold decision for storytelling. However, at the same token, it was a bad decision. Yeah. And so if they obviously they're not following the game. I would encourage people, I'm not going to lie, I would encourage people to actually watch the first season because I did think it was good. It really was. Um, but I'm
That's a dangerous
curious.
proposition because of where the second season is probably going
I
to go.
know. I
And
know.
then you're going to end up in a Game of Thrones thing, and that just pisses people off because,
I I
and
I think it's going to be season 3 or it's going to be like season
okay.
2, part 2, something before they get to that. Because
Yeah.
judging by the reviews that everybody has kind of put out, I do believe that they're not there yet.
Yeah.
They're not there yet. They're not going to be there. And if you're Oberon is Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
See, I'm playing a game right now called Atomfall.
Mm.
And there's a mysterious person that calls you from in a red phone box because it's over in England, and he says Oberon must die, and I'm like, ooh. Now I know who the Oberon is we're talking about,
Yeah.
and that's a horrible. That scene in Game of Thrones is just brutal. Oh my God, his face, like, oh, it reminds me of watching that damn. Uh oh shit. I can't believe I forget the fucking movie. It's oh, this is gonna kill me. It's Guillermo del Toro. It's the one with the fantasy creatures. The hooved creature.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
Okay.
And when the dude bashes in that guy's face with a gun. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And his nose goes inverted in his face. That is awful.
Ugh.
It is an awful fucking scene. That thing
Yep.
is terrible. Holy
Yeah.
shit. I remember watching it. I had to pause that shit and like walk away. I was like, this is fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. Oh, it was so bad. So okay. All right. A friend of yours, friend of mine. No, not really. Chris Gore shares a Superman reaction that is actually good for the DC movie and bad for the Fantastic Four first steps. So we've been hearing about screenings. Been hearing about screenings for Superman. We've been hearing there's mixed reactions about the execs, about friends and family, whatever. But it says a source close to Film Threat's Lifeblood and frontman Chris Gore testified what they heard and experienced at the last Superman test screening. And if you're Warner Brothers, it has to be a good omen. The test audience didn't just like the film; they declared that all is lost for Fantastic Four, according to Gore's source.
It's not exactly what they said, but they
That's
used
not
an
exactly
alliteration.
Yes,
Fantastic
yes, they
Four.
did. It says that some things weren't still finished. Visual effects, title sequences. So it was about 60 people or so viewed the rough cut, and it says someone screamed, "Fantastic Four is fucked," when the screening came to a close. The declaration capped off a wildly successful and positive screening experience. And afterward, Safran and Gunn were overheard discussing big plans for the marketing campaign. Now, if they want to get those marketing campaign going soon, they need to get it going.
Yes, they need to get it done now.
They need to get it going.
I'll preface this with saying that, okay, that's nice and all, but DC comic book fans are more violent and rabid than Marvel comic fans. Marvel comic fans love their comic books and they love their characters, but for whatever reason, they don't react the same way as the people in the DC fan club work. The DC fan club gets a whole lot more aggressive in their fandom.
I agree from what I've seen. I do agree. I'd heard about that for a few years. And because I was kind of out of the loop, and watching a lot of pop culture creators, and but not as active in YouTube and not following a wide swath of people. But now that I've seen that like, yes, you're right. The DC fans, man, they're fucking rabid, dude. Like rabid. And I think it's because there's more normies attached to Marvel.
Yeah.
if that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Especially
Absolutely.
now,
Yep.
right? War Chest, you are just full of Bella Ramsey and Elliot Page dated, and they broke up. I'm pretty sure people wouldn't need to be told that Bella was the ugly one. Oh no! Oh no! You fucking, you're fucking ridiculous. Um,
Woo.
Yeah, I mean, listen, either one of them really in that relationship. If Guillermo, okay, Gremlins. Yeah, I wish Guillermo would do some other stuff, man.
Yeah.
Gremlins, that'd be pretty wild.
Well, they're
Uh,
making a third Gremlins movie, so
I know. Man, Archie fans, are they ravenous, Menjoza? Are they ravenous? I'm sure the Veronica
well,
fans
yeah.
are
Okay.
because
Yeah.
she's
Definitely.
the
Not the Betty fans.
Betty, she's too goody goody.
Yeah.
Veronica's like,
Yep.
"Arr," she's the
That's it.
kitty cat, right?
So I'm sure you guys all love Riverdale, right?
Oh yeah, man, big Riverdale fan. It reminds me so much of another show I loved called Vampire Diaries.
And Melrose Place?
Vampire Diaries, man. I remember my ex, man. She loved it. Oh my god, I remember having to watch that shit. Vampire Diaries. Are there Archie fans? Yes, there's Archie
Yeah, of course
fans.
there are.
There's plenty of Archie fans. It's like asking, is there Jetsons fans? Of course there are. I'm Rosie. Rosie. Uh, Rosie the robot. Mr. J. Oh no, don't ever do that again. Marvel needs to give up on their cinematic universe, get back to standalone movies. I think that's actually a good idea.
Yep.
Putting out too many movies that happened before the events of New York, and also too, they're having trouble at this point now making sense of a lot of things because then you start going, well, it's like Daredevil.
Yeah.
You're talking about mass vigilantes in the city, and we're not going to allow this. But it's like, yeah, but those motherfuckers saved your city, right?
Yeah.
In the events of New York, right?
Well,
with
after
Loki
this
and all
latest
that.
episode,
Like, I don't understand.
After this latest episode, he may have to soften his stance. Oh gosh. Rosie the Riveter here.
Rosie.
Rosie.
I wish I could put my arm around my head anymore and smoke a cigarette. I can't do it anymore. Oh, I used to be able to. Rosie the Riveter. I want to see the tree. Oh, God. Okay. Anyway, enough of that. Clint Jorgensen says, stop this madness, damn it. Says Marvel needs to get back to doing G.I. Joe comics. Hey.
No, they don't need to touch G.I. Joe.
Saved them once, twice,
Yeah.
3 times a movie comic.
Yeah. No, they're good with where they're at right now. G.I. Joe comics are at Skybound. Let's leave them there. It's good.
Let's see. Lunchbox, you talking about the Last of Us season 1? Season
2's not out yet.
It's not out yet. It is
Yeah.
coming. It is coming soon. That's for sure. It is. But I just want to make sure that I had that down and knew exactly what you were talking about, my friend. Vampire Diaries. Daughter. Look, I get it, man. I did have to watch a lot of it, but it was not. It was the goofiest, dumbest shit. And the two leads it was some of the sappiest, saddest people. It was like so chasing that Twilight audience.
Yeah.
So these guys were never fucking happy, like never happy. Especially the one bad boy.
Goff.
He was always just so angry at the world. Yeah, Black Mirror coming back. We may talk about that when it comes back on.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
I did not watch season 1 personally.
Yeah.
Or 2 or 3. I don't even know where it's at right now.
It's got good episodes, but
I've heard great things. Heard great things about it. Now, talking about this Fantastic Four. It seems to be a lot of people are saying that it's kind of horribly cast, and they're worried about Silver Surfer. They are using Julia Garner as the Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Is the female Silver Surfer, which, look, man, if you're not happy about it being a female Silver Surfer, um, I'm okay with that. Like, do you have to be happy that they're not doing the original Silver Surfer? Like, are you supposed to just accept it and be like, yeah, sure, I'm all in? Like, I
Well,
understand if people are
so
upset. That's fine with me.
I heard again another argument this week, and I'm like, okay, this makes the most sense because they're trying to make these characters inclusive and inviting to everybody, but to change the fundamental characteristics of the character is to change the entire character. So therefore it is a new character, and so call it something different, right? don't
Right.
don't don't use the same name, don't use the same storyline or premise, create something new. And
Right.
if you created something new, great. They've got a female herald of Galactus. It's not the Silver Surfer. And if they were going to go that route, they should have gone with Frankie and used her, right? But to use, you know, Silver Surfer's wife, the love interest of his life, the reason why he became the Silver Surfer, right? Using that and flipping that whole story takes everything away from the Silver Surfer storyline. So,
Yeah, I'm just curious how they're going to kind of approach that. If it's going to be, obviously the alternate universe thing. I mean, I wish
she's got to save the damsel in distress and become the Silver Surfer. I mean, they have to do his story, but with her doing it.
I just wish they would get away from the multiverse shit. Like I'm over it. I'm over the multiverse. You know
It's
what,
lazy.
man?
Multiverse
Shit.
makes you lazy.
I forgot to change our picture. That one's not good. I love the Cobra Round Table. Robo Skull. That's great. Got my boy Flint in the front there. Yeah, we'll roll with Robo Skull here, chasing the vamp. Man, I completely forgot about that. My bad. And so yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm gonna go see it. I like the retro futuristic '60s vibe. Like I've always liked that vibe in a way, right? Practical, somewhat current with retro feel. But again, that's another movie that from a marketing standpoint has not really been ramped up. Not to me anyway. I don't know if anybody else feels different out there, but I don't know. And then with those changes, in there, and also if you saw the trailer, the thing, I think the voice is wrong. I think it's off. I don't like the voice on that character. So heaven forbid he says it's clobbering time. I'll just get up and walk the fuck out of the movie theater if he says it's clobbering time.
He's got to say it.
No.
He has to say it.
You've got to separate yourself from that shit.
No, it's the line he says. So you have to say it in the movie. And he's going to say it in a moment of jest when he's talking to Johnny.
I agree. I think it's going to be
it's going to be something stupid. I mean, that's what James Gunn does.
I agree. It's not going to be. It'll be a stupid moment. Not going to watch Fantastic Four. I get it. 3 stars says, are we sure though? Sure. Did we see a shiny dick anywhere? Well, we are sure. They've cast her as the character, so we are sure that Silver Surfer is a female. It is. It's
they've said that from the beginning, and we were hoping that there was a mistake and it was going to be the actual female herald of Galactus, but no, they went with the female Silver Surfer.
Yep. That was the choice, and again, I mean, look, they're skipping the origin stuff. You're not getting the origin story. You're not getting all that shit. That like they're just going to kind of skip through it. Maybe through flashbacks. Might be a 3-minute sequence where they just say, "Hey, we went here, bang, let's get into it." And I'm okay with that because I'm kind of tired of origin sequences when it comes to movies. And another Spider-Man movie that did an origin sequence, right? We don't need that. I'm done with that. And Superman, I don't need that. And I think this Superman movie is gonna kind of bypass that, right? You're just going to kind of get into it. But from what I understand, it kind of sounds like a week in the life of Superman is from what I'm reading.
Yeah, well, that's what some people are equating it to.
Right. But no central plot, no nothing. And Joseph, if you don't want to hear it's clobbering time, don't watch Fantastic Four. No clobber time indeed, sir. What? Listen, I'll watch whatever I want to watch, son. No.
It's clobbering time,
Well,
son.
son of a bitch. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, right on cue. Downloaded a bootleg Fantastic Four movie. It's slobbering time. Oh no. That was a movie I made when I needed money. I went to Van Nuys back in the late '90s, and I needed some money. I'm not proud of it. It was not one of my better moments in life and decisions, but I did it.
For a second, I thought you were talking about the Roger Corman Fantastic Four movie, which is actually the best Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made.
Right.
And was never supposed to be released, but it was. So there, it's out there. You can find it.
Oh man. Yeah.
Because it is a bootleg because it was supposed to be destroyed.
Fucking shit. Yeah. I'm not proud of it, but it's something I did. All right, so here we go, kids. We are going to watch something that you guys probably didn't know. This year, we are getting not one, but two Predator films.
Count them two, folks. Count 'em
Predator, Killer of Killers on Hulu. First look. We'll pause it as much as we can. Here we go.
Give me two, Utah. Two.
Oh, don't you dare do this shit on me. Don't you crap out on me now. There we go.
Time to go.
Lag like a son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's all right. It might help us.
I know it might. So it is animated, if you can tell, but this looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep. June 6th, which, I mean, you know, I had heard nothing about this, by the way.
Yeah.
I'd heard nothing about this. This is totally new to me. I love that franchise, but it has been misused badly lately.
Well, so, I mean, Predator 2 destroyed the lore completely.
Right.
And then beyond that, I mean, every movie it takes away from the lore instead of adding to it. You know,
yes, I agree.
I liked Predators enough. That one was fun.
But it was all right. I don't know why I'm getting such bad lag here exactly. Characters look like they're out of God of War, though.
Yeah,
that's what's
exactly
wild
what
to
I was
me,
thinking
right?
about. They got the native face paint thing going on, and are they in Japan? Because that's not a thing really in Japan, and these people are very white for being in Japan.
Yeah, but God of War definitely is what I'm seeing with this.
Oh yeah, for sure. A little Assassin's Creed, right?
We are getting ninjas, and we're getting a little bit of samurai action, right?
Yeah.
And Punk says, how can the Predator hunt a ninja when we know they're not real?
Exactly.
That is huge. That is huge. How do you feel about that information?
Yeah, Predators aren't real. The Utani or whatever they're called, the species of alien isn't real either. So, you know, fantasy can hunt fantasy all day.
Fantasy can hunt fantasy. I want to say hey to Mr. Wonderful. What's up?
We must kill it, or it will kill us all.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that impressive dialogue?
This lag is killing me. So we're gonna have. So I guess what basically the premise is we're gonna see the Predators through different periods of time. You know, right during a war, in feudal Japan maybe or wherever, and then maybe Viking or something of that nature.
It's Grendel, right? The Predator's actually Grendel.
Damn, this is killing me though. Why is this thing chugging?
From Beowulf.
Ooh, holy cow! Now that was pretty wild.
Yep.
Now hold on to your wigs, folks. Well, it's more impressive when it actually just runs.
Right. Yeah. I don't.
What the fuck?
I don't see the value in them wanting to hunt like this. It doesn't jive with the whole we're hunters trying to prove we're the best by stripping away our technology to go out and hunt to a degree, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
instead you're just your spaceship destroying an inferior vessel. How is that honor? How is that a hunt? You know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think
I used to like this franchise, but there's only one good movie.
Spectacle for the sake of spectacle. How does that sound? Does that sound, right? Like it's kind of like, hey,
It's not even that. It's an IP holder, right? It's, hey, we're going to continue to keep this IP, and if we can milk it for some money, great.
Well, now I can't argue with that. But you see that all the time.
Yeah.
Right. You see it all the time. So common side effects, right? War Chest kind of told me about this. This is Adult Swim. Now I love Adult Swim stuff. I haven't watched Adult Swim since probably Tim and Eric and whatever else, associated with those guys. But anyway, this looks like right up my alley, however. This show. It's I don't know. It looks pretty wild. So yeah, I may have to check it out. But he's been on that trip for a minute. Triple D's Dungeon says so. This is basically Predator's Creed. I don't know, man. Like I tell you though, I am gonna watch it. That's 100%.
Did you get a chance to pull up that trailer for Family Pack or anything like that?
Oh, actually, you know what? I had, give me one sec, and I will, because I pulled up a couple things that I kind of wanted to go over as well, since we have a little bit of time, and then I kind of want to get to a little bit of topic as far as video game adaptations, but yeah, so give me that again. It was
Family Pack. It's a Netflix. It's a French movie, but I think it's on Netflix.
Okay, so I did look it up. I did look at it. Have you watched this?
No, I haven't watched it yet. My wife just showed me the trailer to it tonight. So it's got an actor you're going to recognize in there, but it looks like it's Jumanji meets the werewolf card game.
Okay, well, I want to give you a little. Let's just look it up. All right, Family Pack, Rotten Tomatoes 35%. IMDb is 5.5 out of 10.
Right.
So I read a little bit about this a little while ago, and I was looking through and reading some of the reviews, and some of the reviews are they're all about the same.
Yeah.
Say, hey, the premise, if you played I'm guessing this was is this a book series?
Well, I have no idea, but it looks to be based off of, I mean, there's a card game about.
It's a game. It's a card game.
Who's the werewolf? Yeah.
Yes.
I can't think of the name of it, but yeah.
So my favorite review, and we've all felt this, fellas. We've all felt this. My wife, 1.5 stars. My wife put it on, and we watched the whole thing. If it were up to me, I would have turned it off in the first 15 minutes.
There you go.
I think we've all been there before.
Yeah.
This is 4 stars. It's like Jumanji, but with higher moral stakes.
Yeah. It's got werewolves in it, so
now,
I've got to.
Oh, I know. I know. And now this is someone who's borderline retarded. They can't even type out a review. Like who the fuck is this? Je ne m'attendais pas a unique. I mean, come on. Like if you're gonna type out a review, come on, man. Like learn how to spell, dude. Really, learn how to fucking spell.
You do know it is a French movie.
Oh, that's French. Oh shit, my bad. That's okay. Never mind. Sorry, I didn't. Well, see, here's another son of a bitch right here. Lulu Digerbriel. Yeah,
No,
see.
lupus guru is a real thing. So
I mean, look at this. Sistemaico scenario este stupide et sans interete. I'm like, come on, man. If you're gonna write a review, you gotta learn how to spell. Like, you gotta be able to write. I mean, how am I supposed to read that review? How am I supposed to understand the review? Golly, they must have went to public school in Tennessee. No, seriously though. Yeah, so I kind of looked it up. I did want to know. There you go, man.
is that like snipe hunting where you're from? Is that?
I was curious about the I was curious though about that movie. It seems like a Jumanji type of thing, right?
Yeah, no, the trailer really shows it as that, like a Jumanji thing there.
And
Mendoza, no, if it was a World of Darkness werewolf, the apocalypse movie, I would love it because it would be worth my time to watch it. Not the modern werewolf game that the company Hasbro that bought Wizards of the Coast, which bought White Wolf back in the day.
yeah, not gonna be able to play the music.
Yeah, I can't do that part. But yeah, you can
but
see that there's this game that they find and they don't want to play it. It's stupid, but they touch it and get sucked into this world. And then they have to play out the scenarios. They have to find out who is the werewolves before they kill you, right? And so
is it them that could be the werewolf? Is it one of them that are, or is it just they have to?
So I don't know. So far it appears that they have to determine who all the other werewolves are that are in this place.
Okay, and they kind of go through different time periods. I'm assuming is that
it does not look like different time periods. It looks like they're either in the real world or they're in the game.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Jean Reno.
Yeah. Jean Reno.
Again, listen, like, you spell it out and I can read it. Okay, elite practical effects. It looks like.
Yeah,
for that I appreciate.
Yeah, and there was a couple things in there that look kind of fun. So,
I mean, it look, again, I think fantasy movie wise and stuff like that. I can appreciate. I mean,
yeah,
the reviews are not so kind, okay?
Yeah.
But that that doesn't necessarily mean, whatever. I mean, look,
right.
Some people like watching Madam Web because it is so bad.
Some people like watching Madam Web just for what's her name?
Oh, Sydney Sweeney.
Sweeney.
Well,
right.
There's not enough Sydney Sweeney, and there's not enough of Sydney's Sweeneys.
Wow.
That's what we really need.
There you go.
We need more Sydney's Sweeneys, my friend. Exactly.
There you go.
Graph Sweeney time. You did turn me on to something that I had completely forgotten about. Let's see. He's like a Sasquatch, but basically a werewolf shapeshifter. Who the fuck is that son of a bitch? Mendoza says, I hope they won't mind the beast of Gavudan. Is that how you say that? With this card game movie? I'm so lost right now. You're showing your knowledge, and I'm lost as shit. I'm a dumb man. I'm stupido when it comes to that stuff. So the epic theme park.
Yes.
Right? The Universal's
Epic
opening
Universe.
the first new major theme park in Florida in over 20 years. And this is someone who was able to go to it. This girl right here, she is a classic adult Disney-phile, if I had to guess.
We
Single,
saw
7 cats, and goes to theme parks all the time.
We saw a really good video with it. I should have sent you that one.
Um, but anyway, she does make a few points. Like, she says this is a view from the hotel if you stay at the Grand Helios. And then there's a bird's eye view of the park.
Well, no, that's
Um,
not the park.
Oh, well,
Uh,
from the hotel, rather. This is
yeah,
from the hotel. This is a bird's eye view from the hotel. It says
yeah,
Epic Universe divided into 5 worlds.
yep.
Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. Then you have Super Nintendo World. You have How to Train Your Dragon. You have the Dark Universe and Celestial Park, which all sound a lot cooler than going to Disney, in my opinion.
Well,
Um,
when you take a look at what's inside there, you're going to say it's a whole lot cooler than Disney.
right.
This is going to be a Disney World killer because
Yeah.
Disney hasn't innovated in such a long time. They do little things here and there, but this is a whole complete revamp. When you see that they have the Crystal Dynamics four-legged robot running around in a dragon
Oh,
costume
that's wild. Yeah,
with
that's pretty
animatronic
cool.
eyes, ears, and mouth,
Yeah.
and you get to meet Toothless's kids in those as they run around the park
Yeah.
with a guide and stuff like that. Plus, you have the people in costume, doing the other dragons that look really amazing. The stuff that they're doing with all of these parks is really cool.
Um, roller coaster here. Rip Ride Rocket, I think. Okay, they have.
So they've got
This is
this.
kind of scary.
Yeah,
Lockers that use facial recognition to unlock.
yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
about all that.
I don't know about all that. They do have a roller coaster with broken track. So they use this new roller coaster technology. So you're riding around on the roller coaster and the track is missing,
Oh
right?
wow.
And
Okay, that's
and
wild.
it's pretty cool because the cart has got this attachment piece that goes to a track that's underneath the track. So there's
Okay,
basically two tracks going around the whole
gotcha,
thing. And
gotcha.
then when the track disappears, you're just it feels like there's no track and you're falling, but
Right.
it's optical, right? So it's pretty cool.
Um, yeah. Oh, it definitely adds to the kind of not just scary, but
Yeah.
the excitement, right? I mean, that's I'm
Yep.
sure as a visual thing. Here's the fast casual barbecue joint. I'm sure this platter is $72.
Right.
Uh, um, let's see. Oh, Dark Universe. That's probably really cool, actually, man.
Yeah, no, they've got
You
a really
know,
cool. They've changed up the werewolf thing, so they're not all old school Larry Talbot. There's more modern type of werewolves in there, and
just looking
Frankenstein's
at,
monster and everything.
yeah, right. Just looking at some of the pics. Wait, let's keep going. And
There's a burning windmill that lights itself on fire several times a
oh,
day,
cool, man.
and so
Uh,
going to the dark universe at night will be really awesome.
I bet this to me would be worth the money.
So
There's
as
the
I understand.
windmill.
Yep. As I understand it, the Epic Universe is limiting people. I don't remember exactly what the limitations are, but basically, if you go for a trip, they won't let you go to all the parks, and you can only spend one day at each park. And I think it's like three parks, three of the five you can go to each visit, and you can only stay 3 or 4 days. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
because I mean, they're trying to get people excited, develop FOMO, and then try to get you to come back.
I know
Um,
it's limited early on. I remember
yeah.
reading that it
Yep.
is limited and whatever. I kind of went to their website. Um, Night
Yeah,
of the
they
Silver Fangs, that's right up your alley too.
Silver Fangs, that's Werewolf the Apocalypse, right?
Yep. But yeah, so oh, Invisible Man walking
So
around.
this guy has gotten the
Son
most
of a bitch.
comments. Is
Okay.
the guy that presents himself as Dr. Griffin, um, which you might notice from Operation Monster Force because they use Lieutenant Griffin as that character, but
Gotcha.
the original character from the very first Claude Rains movie. But this guy walks around and he will tear you a new asshole. Okay, this guy is the most surly, obnoxious, pain in the ass,
Really?
arrogant guy, and he will get in your face, not in your face
Okay.
literally, but he will berate you for trying to speak to him or anything. And he's being the Claude Rains character from The Invisible
Wow.
Man, who the Claude Rains character is the only true villain in the Universal Monsters
So
verse.
in this picture, you can see him turned, and there's someone walking away, and he's
Yep.
probably like talking shit.
Yeah.
He's probably
So much
literally
shit
talking
that he's
shit.
gotten complaints. There's a laundry list of complaints that people have filed against the actor in the park for being so insulting and hurtful or whatever. Because you got all these snowflakes and they aren't prepared or don't even know who the Invisible Man is.
Well,
Right.
I would say that being a lot of it.
Oh yeah.
How to Train Your Dragon. That's I mean, come on.
The
bro.
so
Let's
so
get some
that
better
ice dragon
pictures
right
here.
there, that ice
Yeah.
dragon,
Yeah.
sprays out a cold mist of ice.
Oh,
So on
cool.
those hot summer
Yep,
days, you
yep,
can
yep.
sit there in front
I
of
get
the
it.
and just wait for him to blow his
Yeah.
icy breath on you.
Um, yeah, I had an ex like that, only it was on
Ah.
cold nights she blew hot air.
The actors that they've gotten to play these characters are pretty awesome. The guy who does Hiccup actually gets his inflection and his tone and his voice. No, they're killing it with everything they're doing right now with these
Yeah,
parks.
that no, that's cool. I mean, I would definitely love to go down there and check it out. I never did take my son to Disney. It wasn't something he was very interested in. And I know a lot of people, they take their kids when they're young. But I'll tell you, man, when your kids are like 2, 3, they're not gonna remember that shit. Like,
Yeah,
and I see people all the time do that kind of stuff, and it's like, no, it's more for them than it
right.
is for the kids, right? It's more
Absolutely.
for the adults to take the kids so that they can remember that themselves than
Right.
it is for the actual kids.
Yep.
But this would be fun, especially for somebody a little older, right?
Yep.
Teenager,
And that's the way the Universal parks have always been. You want to be
look at
eight
them
to
boots.
12. You want to be 8 to 12 to really appreciate everything there. So yeah, the cobbler, the guy who makes all the shoes, has his pitch, but he's also the one that brings out Toothless's children, or has you help him find Toothless's children, which are the Crystal Dynamics four-legged robots that are running around. Now that
Yeah.
Toothless right there, he doesn't move, but he's incredibly interactive. Uh,
Okay.
and Hiccup is usually with him there, so that actor's keeping an eye on things and letting one person at a time, so he doesn't get crowded and all that stuff. But the dragon is extremely responsive to you. So there's some stuff going on there with somebody watching and controlling it or whatever, but it's really cool.
And maybe and I didn't realize video wise and whatever. Maybe next week I'll pull some video up and kind of see some of it in action. I didn't realize that there was. I
Yeah.
just kind of found this article.
So
Um,
what happened is they had their first preview for all of the insiders or whatever, and they ran through the preview. Some of the park employees let in some media people. Those
okay.
park employees were fired. And the media people were kicked out, and if they posted anything, it was getting struck immediately and taken down, because they did the media release, and the media release um, or the media tour was allowed to post their videos this past weekend. So this past weekend should be the first official video releases of people going through the park and experiencing it.
And that's kind of what this seems to be. This is
Yeah.
in Harry Potter,
Yep.
Wizarding World. A lot of these pictures here,
So
or all
one of
these
the
pictures here.
one of the videos I saw of the Wizarding World thing, because you actually walk through one of the fireplaces to transport you to the ministry.
Yeah.
And one of the video guys was like, I was on set for the Harry Potter movies at the ministry. And I will tell you that this set is far better than the sets that they use for the movie, because it all has to be realistic for people walking through it, not just the camera angle, right? And you can't hide it with CGI. You've got to hide it with the special effects or the optical illusions that they use in there. So that whole ministry thing is really awesome. And obviously there's more of the wand spots like they had in Diagon
Oh,
Alley.
sure. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's going to be some really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, this thing looks awesome. That looks cool as shit. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, hell
The
yeah.
restaurants all sound really interesting too. Food and drinks. They've got alcoholic beverages because it's not Disney, but Disney started doing that recently. But they all have specialty beverages, like in the Universal Horror one. You've got this like fruity blood wine thing that they've got. They've got all kinds of cool different drinks for the different monsters.
Yeah, this Super Nintendo World, that's
Yeah,
right up my alley too. Like I would love to see
dude,
this.
to see Donkey Kong walking around with Donkey Kong
Yeah,
Jr. and stuff like that is
and
really cool.
just this made up, like just this area right here,
Yeah,
a castle, like just how that looks and just kind of being, that vibe to be around that, and everything like the pipes and all, yeah, it looks fantastic. This is kind of where it's at, and they're putting a dent in Disney's
oh yeah, they certainly are.
Disney's pocketbook, man. They're really bringing people in, and this is obviously going to increase that even more so than it already has. Like
Oh yeah,
they've definitely been taking those customers.
Clint, I'll
Uh,
tell you, you look up the Wizarding World videos for Epic Universe, because the first part of it is in France, in the scene in that little town or whatever that they did in the Fantastic Beasts. I think, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was Harry Potter, but they've got a whole kind of setup in that little French town, and it looks amazing. And then you go through the gateway to get to the Ministry. It looks really amazing.
oh,
But yeah, it's something that I, if you're going to go somewhere, it'd be like this place, because this place doesn't hate you.
yeah, right.
Wants your family to come and enjoy.
Yeah,
There,
Clint. I mean, Graf says definitely need to go there. Clint. Yeah, that. I mean, obviously, if you're a big Potter fan, I mean, if I was a big fan of Harry Potter, the way they look like they've done it right, it's a
yeah,
place I would love to go to. Conversely, where you have Star Wars, the way that Disney did the Star Wars area, it's super underbaked. They based it
yeah,
on the sequel trilogy. They completely went the wrong direction with it, and
yeah.
I have no interest whatsoever in going to that. And
Well,
that's would be up my alley, but it's not.
I'll tell you that they've started to put in some of the OTs in there, and it is kind of a little immersive park, and it's kind of cool. There's not a lot there, but
Right.
for what they did put there is pretty neat. Clint, there's another thing at the Ministry that I thought was really cool, is you can go to Umbridge's office, and her house elf is sitting up there chatting with you as you walk through her office. Talking about her and the way he talks and stuff. The whole thing is really well done with this animatronic house elf that you're interacting with.
I mean, I bet that whole thing. I mean, it just sounds really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
and it looks fantastic. I mean, the monster stuff. I mean, it's very distinct areas, man. Yeah, I wouldn't mind heading down there, and maybe I'll try to see what in the next year or so. Opens May 22nd,
Uh huh.
2025.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yep.
For those of you
Gonna
close to there.
strangle Disney during the summer months.
Um, well, uh, I think basically I want to get your opinion on kind of the video game adaptation craze. Do you remember going all the way back to The Wizard,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Um, as a kid, I thought that was so freaking cool. Like I would, it was basically a commercial for what Super Mario Brothers 2, I think it was,
Right.
if I remember. Um, and um, and then obviously the Super Mario Brothers movie, which for it came out kind of late.
Yeah.
It had it come out, it took them years to get it in development and to get it going, and it should have come out probably 3 or 4 years earlier, 5 years earlier.
I
But
mean, if it had played off of the variety show or something else, I don't know, it would have
right.
might have been a little different. But it was so dramatically different from the video game that people were like, "What? What's going on here? What is this?"
Yes. I think we all can remember like the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. We've had some pretty bad adaptations, right,
Hey,
through the
that first
years.
Mortal Kombat movie was awesome. I mean, Christopher
Um,
Lambert and all.
and look, just to kind of bring up, like we can kind of look through some of these. now some of this is going to be like, oh, well, this is based off of, like just if you type in video game movies,
Yeah.
I'll type in adaptations
Yeah.
and see where we get with that. Because Ready Player One, right, based off of a book. But for me, like going way back, I thought it was awesome that, video games were being made into movies. But the problem is that they weren't good.
Yep.
The first Resident Evil movie, cool. But
Yeah.
after that, it really, totally super devolved.
Well,
Doom was not good.
Oh,
Silent
come on.
Hill was not good. I mean, going even.
I mean,
like,
the Doom had The Rock in it. I mean, it had to be good.
man, like, man, what are you talking
Oh,
about?
man.
But recently we've had a lot more. But
Yeah.
even like I said, going back to Street Fighter, going back to the Mortal Kombat stuff, I think I'm trying to think of when it really turned around. I'm not gonna say it's Sonic because Sonic worked because they went back, redesigned the character.
Yeah. Did
but-
you see Hitman?
No. Oh my God,
Okay.
Hitman! I forgot
Yeah.
all about Hitman.
Everybody
let's
loved
see here.
Hitman when it came out.
Okay, so here we go. Look, let's just go back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Double Dragon?
Yes. Yes. I
Okay.
was so confused in that movie because I'm like, what the hell does this have to do with the video game? And then there's a comic book that came out with it around the same time, and it tied more into the comic book and the cartoon show than it did the
Right.
actual video game.
So Double Dragon, which
Not good.
not good. Street Fighter,
No, it was
which
okay.
we all
I mean,
understand. He even made a game out of the Street Fighter, the movie, the
movie, yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat, Mortal
Raul
Kombat
Julia's last
Annihilation,
movie.
Wing Commander.
Now, I liked the Mortal Kombat movies. They were fun for what they were. Wing Commander was a big disappointment
Now here's the big one.
because I
Laura-
liked the Wing Commander 4 cutscenes were better than the movie.
So look at what Laura Croft Tomb Raider brought in at
Set.
worldwide is 274 million for 2001.
Yeah.
And I did like it. I liked some Angelina Jolie back then.
I mean, come on. She was the Sydney Sweeney of her day.
I agree. And then Resident Evil,
Yeah.
Paul
I
W.S.
liked that first
Anderson.
movie, even though it
Yes.
had nothing to do with the game.
I agree. But Laura Croft, Tomb Raider, Cradle of
Cradle
Life,
of
which
Life,
was the
Daniel
second
Craig.
movie.
Daniel
Daniel
Craig was in
Craig,
that.
that's right. And then we kind of get, House of the Dead, Resident Evil Apocalypse,
Mhm.
Alone in the Dark, which, cool game, not a
Yeah.
good movie. Doom, Blood Rain, Silent Hill. I remember when I saw
Forgot about
Silent
Blood
Hill. And Silent
DOA
Hill,
was
very
probably the-
disappointing.
DOA was probably the biggest disappointment because there was not enough jiggle in that movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, and how do you do that? I mean, it'd be softcore porn, you know what I mean?
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
I remember Postal when
Yep.
Postal came out, goofy.
Yep.
Hitman, not so great. 35 out of 100 or 16%, I'm guessing Rotten Tomatoes. In the Name of the King, Dungeon Siege, don't really remember that. And I really don't remember Far Cry. I do remember Max Payne, and Max
Yep.
Payne was an awful movie.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
That was no good.
Tekken, Street Fighter,
So
Legend of
that
Chun-Li.
That Tekken movie's not too bad. This Chun-Li one was terrible.
I remember Prince of Persia. Yeah, we did. Now, Monster Hunter, I remember that being made recently. Doom, yeah, we did go over Doom. But as we kind of scroll through this list, like, you see another Hitman, Need for Speed. Yeah, I remember the Warcraft movie was very popular overseas. It was very popular international. That was a big movie internationally, doing 439 million. As we get more,
Rampage,
yeah,
another rock movie.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, as we start to get more into our modern thing, in my mind, I was thinking, years ago, video game adaptation movies or whatever, probably not that great, More recently, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, they've been more successful. They've been pretty good. And I wanted to go through this list, especially as we get closer to where we're at now, to see whether or not that actually is the case.
No,
To
it's
see
not.
whether or not they are all good or whatever. And obviously we got the new Tomb Raider there, which I was not good with Alicia
Nope.
Vikander.
Sorry, nope.
Rampage,
Nope.
Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
That one was good.
That was not a bad movie. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yep, that was good.
Sonic
the
in
Hedgehog.
2020
Yep.
and in February 14th, 2020, right before the world ended, as it was ending, so to speak. Monster Hunter, there you go, right there, Graph. Then Mortal
What?
Kombat,
Werewolves Within was a
Werewolves Within.
huh.
And there's the picture for you right there.
No, I was thinking The Beast Among Us. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
That was a good movie.
Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. I remember that, and that
Yikes.
was crap.
Yikes.
Uncharted, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that
and,
was so
Tom
terrible.
Holland.
Totally
Crap.
miscast. Totally
Absolutely. So then we get Sonic 2, Five Nights at Freddy's, Borderlands, Sonic 3, a Minecraft movie. Now, I didn't bring up any TV adaptations because there have been a few
miscast. Yeah.
TV adaptations. And the reason I wanted to kind of ask, and even with the chat maybe, are you tired of the MCU? Are you kind of checked out on the superhero stuff? And would you be maybe more checked in if the next wave or popular in fashion thing in Hollywood is video game adaptations, if they're good, right? Does that interest you more than comic book heroes or superhero movies?
Look, if the video game was made well, it told a story in the video game. It's interactive. It's interesting. Now, how do you distill that into a movie to translate it to people who haven't seen the property? That's the trick, because the people that have already seen it have the video game and have the experience from playing the video game, and you're not going to top it. You can't top
Right.
it because you've got 40 to 80 to whatever, how many hours of gameplay that you put into something to get that story, right? And so you're invested in that, and to go see that distilled into a 2-hour movie or 90-minute movie or whatever, it's never going to do it justice. It's never going to feel right. It's like reading a book and then watching the movie of the book.
I agree. I agree with you. I think the difficult thing is to try to bring in new people and get people, hyped up. I think certain movies like the Super Mario Brothers movie, which actually wasn't even on this list. Was
I
it?
know, that was really strange. I was like,
I'm kind of shocked now, and of course I'm not using an official source per se, but I figured at the very least they'd have it on here. But that movie was absolutely huge.
Yeah.
But certain things are too big to fail almost, right?
Yeah.
Like I think Minecraft is too big to fail. Super Mario is too big to fail.
It's not too big to fail, but you gotta mess it up real bad.
Yeah, I mean, the Super Mario Brothers movie was a movie about what? Minecraft, a movie about what? It's, from a plot perspective, it's just, I think that if they make it funny enough, right? It's like the Minions stuff, people are going to go see it, right?
Yep.
And so, but what I kind of found interesting, honestly, as you kind of go through this list, and again, probably not a complete list, it's the same IP, over and over. And if you look at upcoming, even Until Dawn, great game. Don't know what you could do in a movie. Don't know about Exit 8, but Mortal Kombat, Five Nights at Freddy's, Resident Evil, Sonic the Hedgehog, Legend of Zelda, Silent Hill, Street Fighter. I mean, you're still seeing like those same franchises that they're still trying to, either get a hit or rekindle the magic. A Legend of Zelda movie, I don't know, man. Like
I mean, are you going to go with the Goofy cartoon? Are you going to go with Breath of the Wild? Are you going to go Twilight
Right.
Princess? I mean, what era are you going to go? Minish Cap. I mean, what era are you going to go with?
Right.
What kind of story do you want to tell?
It's super interesting.
I would love for them to do Ocarina of Time. I think that would be fascinating. Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild. Those stories will be really interesting.
Right. Right.
And, you could tell, the first Zelda story, right? But whatever.
Yeah, I assume it would be somewhat. I mean, the thing of it is, the Zelda lore is all over, and it's out of order. There is it is out of order.
Well, they have put it in order, and there are two different timelines, and so there's a point at which you break off, and if you were successful in Ocarina of Time, it's this timeline. If you were not successful, it's this timeline. And so they kind of split it off, and they've reworked it so that there is a timeline.
I watched a great video. Angry Video Game Nerd did a great video on the Zelda and like the timeline, right? And the games and everything. And
that was a good one.
Can be, and Final Fantasy is another one that's pretty wild.
Final Fantasy is awesome, but you can't adapt that. They've tried twice.
No, they tried it. Yeah. Far Cry movie, Menjoza. Double Dragon. Mr. Madgus says, what's the worst movies ever made in history? Night. No, not quite. At least this portion, not necessarily, but you're right. A lot of them are some of the worst movies absolutely made. Unfortunately, that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
But they've gotten a few right here in the last several years. They've actually gotten a few right and had some good hits. Look, I'm all for a Joe movie done right. Yeah, I think we all are here. We're not, we're not silly. We know that, right?
Yeah.
And Josie, give me a good movie of any genre. Yeah, I'm with you. Fallout, Mr. Magus says Fallout was a big disappointment. And Joseph, Fallout didn't work for him either. We talked about this last week. I'm a Fallout shill, and so I was blinded by my fandom, right? To look past.
You were not listening to me on that one at all.
No, I recognize the issues with it, but man, I love that universe so much, man. I can't help myself. Graf would rather have more superhero movies, Deadpool, Guardians, Spidey.
I mean, there's so much lore to dive into, to mine out of the superhero genre that it would be a shame to pass it on. It's in a lot of ways like Westerns, because you can do anything with a Western, and you can do anything with a superhero film too.
Yep. And Mr. Magus, so see, you could tell us firsthand. So I just watched Minecraft with the grandkids. It wasn't for me. From everything I've heard, all accounts that I guess, I don't know, from a plot perspective, maybe pretty predictable. But is it the kind of movie?
No plot.
Is it just kind of movie that's just kind of all over the place, and it's maybe a lot of quick joke, funny quips, maybe one-liners and stuff like that. I've heard a few things about it, but since you actually went to go see it, you could probably give us a first-hand account, because I don't think anybody else has actually seen it. Red Dead Redemption would be amazing.
Right.
I'm with you there, War Chest. If they could, Gears of War is a great property that would be cool to adapt.
Yeah.
Zelda Dark Crystal style sounds interesting.
Yeah,
I love
would be
Dark
interesting.
Crystal. Dude, I love Dark Crystal.
And that movie has put me asleep for 40 years.
I hear you, man.
I mean, I love the movie, but it just puts me to sleep.
It's no, I get it. I do. But there's something about those puppets, man. It always just that,
I didn't mind the Netflix series that they did either.
I didn't see it. I actually didn't see it. I need to check it out.
I remember thinking fondly of it. I was like, oh, this is pretty not as bad as everybody's saying, but
right. So Dragon Age, Jade Empire, I'm down with that too. I know both of those. Mr. Magus says, I enjoyed Twisted Metal show. Not great, but tolerable. I've heard that it's not like the best thing, but I heard it wasn't terrible by any means. Yeah. Right. So Wind Waker, Is that the one you'd want to see? Maybe the Wind
Nah,
Waker. That's
no.
a Sydney Sweeney as Zelda. Yeah, baby.
Heck yeah.
Um, and here we go. Says it was all over the place. And Jack Black was in it. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then Diablo could be interesting. And Warchest says Netflix Dark Crystal was kick ass but drawn out,
Yeah, a little bit.
which can be, can be bad for
Well,
something.
I just liked it. The Henson Company is back involved with it, and they did a lot of
Right.
cool stuff with it. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just curious if because of Minecraft, because of Sonic, because of Mario Brothers, if video game movies are kind of gonna, how these companies do, Matthew, how these studios are. If
Yep.
something's successful, they want to copy it
Yep.
and copycat it. And that's kind of my thinking with this, is they're just gonna kind of, hey, what other property can we push out there?
Yep.
And I think there's only a few from the video game world. There was a rumored Metal Gear movie for years. Hideo
Yeah.
Kojima, right?
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But, is a normie going to be attracted to that? It's not like
So,
Mario. It's not like
it-
Sonic.
I think the normie audience would love it because it's spy espionage with giant mecha, right? You've got intrigue, you've got all these complex things going on in the storyline and the history. I think if you could tie that into a movie, I think it'd be really interesting, and I think a lot of people would love it.
I agree, but I don't think you could let Kojima anywhere near the script. Because
Probably no, yeah, I agree. I mean, you have to have
You
somebody
know what
that's
I
going to make
mean.
a cohesive script that makes logical sense. But
Yes.
but still, there's major things, plot points that he's kind of mapped out that would be really interesting to explore. So
Yeah, yeah. Sydney Sweeney and Metroid. I'm with you. Sydney Sweeney in anything.
well,
Actually.
Sydney Sweeney and
Maybe.
Metroid would be about perfect though, because
Ooh,
Samus
Yeah.
was
oh yeah, and that suit, holy moly. Yeah, if they stick to the storyline, I think if they just adapted a 1-for-1 on Red Dead Redemption, I think it would be unbelievable. And they could even do the first, the first proper game.
now.
And
Did
then
you see
Red
the
Dead 2.
movie? Did you see the movie Free Guy?
No, I heard it was great.
I liked it. Yeah, I thought
I heard
that
it was.
a lot of
I
fun.
heard it was very good. I heard it was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I heard Free Guy was actually really, really good. Very fun movie.
Yeah.
And I forgot all about it until you brought it up. I kid you not. Like, forgot all about it. Triple D's Dungeon. I'm out when we get Frogger. I don't know what you could do. They probably could do a whole movie, even if it's just a short one, about Frogger and being scared to cross the road and overcoming the fear of crossing the road, right? To get to the other side. And maybe started out where his younger brother got killed, got splattered. And so ever since then, the family's like, you can't go there. And it's about practicing, right? It's fucking stupid.
There you go.
No. Yeah, Zero Suit. Samus. I'm with you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, Free Guy had everything in it for everybody. Yeah, I've heard it's really, really good. I really did. Well, shit, man. I don't really have much else to get into. I think next week let's do something a little different next week, because we really don't have, until we really get into the swing of the summer movie season, which is coming rapidly, and we're going to have some shit to really talk about coming up soon. Why don't next week we get into the G.I. Joe comics,
Okay.
if you'd like.
Yeah.
If that sounds good to you and to the audience. Definitely like to get into some G.I. Joe stuff and the comic. I've been enjoying the Inner John and the continuation of the Hammer stuff as well. I know you're not as high on it, but that's okay. That's what this is for. And then let's
1923. 1923 just wrapped up, finished up that season. Reacher 1923, some of the best shows that's come out this year so far.
There you go. Yeah. And then maybe maybe we can talk a little toys next week. What do you think? I mean, it's if we get a premiere, get a show that comes out that's popping out, we can talk about it. But
Yep.
maybe we can get
Andor's coming soon, right? But
yeah. Yep, it is, and I love Andor. I love season 1, and I'm excited for season 2. I really really enjoyed season 1. I do think if you haven't seen it, I think it's worth your time. I think the acting is amazing. I think the script is amazing, and it has some really memorable dialogue for sure. It really is. So I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. And Mr. Magus, I mean, we could try to get into some of our favorite ones, but I don't know. I remember some from when I was younger, collecting them VHS tapes, that's for sure. There were certain starlets that I definitely had a fondness for. Unfortunately, I think a lot of them, their lives kind of ended horribly from what I remember, which is, par for the course, I think. But yeah, no, man, we can do a little bit of that next week. Kind of take a week off from the movie biz, and get into a little toy action maybe, and maybe.
And if anybody cares, there's one last episode of Daredevil, or no, two.
Yep.
What are we?
Yeah,
one
two,
or two?
two. I think it's two
left?
episodes. We've got, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm going to be watching as soon as I get done with you here.
Yep.
And tuning into that. And then I have an MRI at 8:20 in the morning, so I'm looking forward to that. So
yeah.
Vanessa Del Rio, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Yeah, coming to the main stage. Put your hands together for Vanessa Del Rio. Thanks, Todd. Hopefully all good. It's a pinched nerve thing, I think. So we shall see. Hopefully they can unpinch it for me in sometime in the future. But anyway, so look, that's all I got, Matthew. Go check out 1923. Obviously, if you've been watching it, and if you don't, go check it out. And now you can watch the whole season and binge it in one fell swoop. But I do appreciate everybody being here. That's for sure. Matthew, always, every week. Let's see. Check out my cuz on the Backyard Battlefield on Wednesday night. Probably tell you the story about how he won the dragon
Theater.
and his highs and lows of dealing with his Walmart cancellation of Crystal Ball. So he'll have a couple good stories Wednesday night with Krusty Old Crow. And then we'll be back next Tuesday. So, man, y'all have a good night. Really appreciate it. As always, thank you so much. And we'll see you again in a week.